Starting with the Iron Man evaluations, this video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, Climbing Mount Everest. Pingfan, wearing the deep sea walking equipment, led the mermaids over, and under the all-round shooting of the video camera, they began to appreciate the scenery of the Arctic. Since we are not far from the North Pole now, according to the timeline, it is the time when the Arctic alternates between polar day and polar night. Counting from the most recent time, the Arctic is about to experience a polar night lasting half a year. Unfortunately, if we had come a little earlier, or about half a month to a month later, we might have had a chance to appreciate the dazzling aurora. Who would dare to believe that the only ocean in the world without human habitation was probably just a huge freshwater lake 20 million years ago? I know some people don't believe this, but scientists have long collected 428 meters of sediment in a strait in the central Arctic Ocean near the North Pole. Among them, 5.6 meters of sediment is of special significance. This section of sediment may have been formed between 18.2 million and 17.5 million years ago. It is conceivable how sporadic the civilization of tens of millions, or even tens of millions of years, has been. After a pause, Pingfan continued, as for the floating ice we are standing on now, or ocean ice to be precise, it has a history of at least 2 million years since its formation. Because Pingfan was wearing equipment that could sustain his diving in the 10,000 meter deep sea trench, he was not afraid of the severe cold. The coldness of the Arctic was nothing to him. As for the mermaid coming over, after the fusion of human and fish genes, in addition to helping it adapt to various ocean pressures, it also played a gentle regulatory role. At least the temperature in the Arctic was not enough to freeze it to death. The Arctic is a magnificent white world, where frost and snow are its synonyms. We have already appreciated the scenery of the Arctic. Next, I wonder if everyone is interested in the Himalayas? Pingfan smiled indifferently. Just as he was about to speak, he saw an amazing scene not far away. Everyone, look. Pingfan immediately adjusted the camera and pointed it in the direction of his gaze. In the distance, on a floating ice, a snow-white giant was struggling to climb up from the sea, and it seemed to be holding something. It's a polar bear, and what it's dragging in its mouth is a seal. Now everyone should understand why polar bears don't eat penguins. It's probably because their appetites don't match, and eating penguins can easily cause diarrhea. Of course, I support those who have questions to do more research. Maybe one day we can thoroughly study why polar bears don't eat penguins. After saying that, Pingfan took Lay's hand again. Since Lay is a mermaid, it can only be included in the category of amphibians at most. The Himalayas may not be suitable for it, so before going to the Himalayas, I will send it back first. After saying that, Pingfan once again held the blade of time and space, cut open the space, established a space channel, and then returned from the Arctic to the sea area near the ocean home. After seeing Lay return to the sea area within the defense range of the ocean home, he breathed a sigh of relief. Next, it's the top of the world, Mount Everest. It's in the ocean. Pingfan cut open the space again with a knife. In the blink of an eye, he appeared on the top of a mountain from the boundless blue deep sea. White clouds were silent at the foot, and there were countless peaks made of frost and snow. Here, it's closest to heaven, or perhaps heaven. Of course, we need to prove that heaven or heaven really exists. Mount Everest is the main peak of the Himalayas and the highest peak in the world. Like the North Pole, everything is white. As he spoke, Pingfan injured the strong gale on the top of the peak, and stepped forward a few steps on the snow that may have not melted for thousands of years or even longer. Where you look is the north wall of Mount Everest. There are many continental glaciers distributed between these ridges and steep backs. The video recorder began to follow Pingfan's gaze. In the glacier, there are countless naturally formed ice towers. The ice and snow are piled high, like irregular towers one after another. These are the ice tower forests that can only be seen on continental glaciers. Next, everyone get ready and look behind me, the flag that is fluttering in the wind, even though it is covered with frost. Pingfan turned around suddenly on Mount Everest. Behind him, a flag covered with frost fluttered in the wind. This is the evidence that our great Chinese people have climbed Mount Everest. A Chinese flag. Salute. In the snowy world of icebergs, Pingfan inserted the Chinese flag on Mount Everest a little lower. I have been to the highest and deepest places in the world. What else are you looking forward to now? Pingfan on the top of the mountain did not feel the unsmooth altitude sickness, perhaps because the deep sea walking equipment can absorb and transform oxygen. This is a piece of stone I brought back from the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Now I bury it under the Chinese flag to prove that I have been here. The temperature at the top of Mount Everest is now -52 degrees Celsius. If someone can still climb to the top in the future, they can take this piece of stone down. Soon. Pingfan dug a snow pit next to the Chinese flag on Mount Everest and buried the stone he brought back from the deepest part of the Mariana Trench. This was what he had thought of before he came to Mount Everest. This is the first time that the highest point in the world and the deepest point in the world have been connected. Well, we have been to Mount Everest, and we will continue to explore the extreme of the next world. Pingfan stood on the top of the mountain, feeling the fierce cold wind, and he stretched out his hand and raised the space blade high. The deepest seabed and the highest mountain have all left the footprints of the evaluators. Have you ever experienced the life forbidden zone in the driest area? After saying that, Pingfan raised his hand and cut the space. The cracks for building the space channel appeared in front of him again, and also appeared in the video recorder, and in front of everyone in the live broadcast room. No one knows where this space channel leads to, and no one knows where it can go. Eye of the Sahara. Pingfan slowly uttered 5 words. Maybe some people don't know what these 5 words mean, but most people should know what the first 3 words mean. Sahara. The desert formed about 2.5 million years ago can also be said to be the largest and most dangerous desert in the world. The climatic conditions here are very harsh. Like the Mariana Trench, it is one of the most unsuitable places for biological survival on the earth. The Eye of the Sahara is located in the Sahara Desert. It is still a mystery, an unexplainable mystery. It is a unique place in the world. Passing through the space channel, you can see endless yellow sand, with a tornado connecting the sky and the earth. It is raging. Chapter 77. Whoever wants to kill me, just come. The Eye of the Sahara is one of the world's 10 most spectacular geological wonders. It is slightly elliptical, with a diameter of about 48 kilometers, but the entire eye is 340 kilometers long, and can be clearly seen even from space. The altitude here is about 400 meters, and the overall appearance is relatively flat. It was first discovered in the early 1960s, when a spacecraft was traveling in space hundreds of kilometers away from the Earth, and passed over Africa. Astronauts discovered this strange phenomenon. Just in the southwest of the Sahara Desert, a round object appeared. It is like a round eye, staring at the space. This is the Eye of the Sahara. The anchor is so strong. Don't compete with me. The anchor will be my father in the future. My good son will not compete with you. The anchor is my daughter-in-law. You can talk about it as you like. Upstairs. High risk warning. Mr. Zhao has been silently peeking at the screen. Anchor, can you take a picture of the Eye of the Sahara from high altitude for us, so that we still can't appreciate the miracle of the Eye of the Sahara? Okay, I will now operate the video recorder to rise to the sky and officially shoot the full picture of the Eye of the Sahara. After Pingfan finished speaking, he was about to operate the video recorder to fly high. He only glanced through the split screen in his mind and happened to see someone swipe a gift. Mr. Zhao, please control your wallet and emotions. Although we are familiar with each other, if you swipe gifts again, you will be kicked out. Damn, the income from this live broadcast has nothing to do with him. Why didn't he keep swiping gifts last time instead of swiping gifts for Hammer? Conscientious anchor, it seems that you are not just talking. If nothing else, I have become a fan. Love it, love it. Every like I give is sincere. Anchor, after filming the Eye of the Sahara, can you come to my house? I cough cough. The noodles I make are delicious. Bitch, get out of here. Under the operation of Pingfan, the video recorder continued to fly high. The true appearance of the Eye of the Sahara began to emerge little by little. The Eye of the Sahara, with a diameter of 48 kilometers, is particularly clear at this moment. It looks like a huge concentric circle. The center of the Eye of the Sahara is very flat, surrounded by some low hills, and in the distance is endless yellow sand. Looking down from the sky, it seems to be divided into 3 layers. The circle in the center looks like a pupil, with a slightly damaged edge on one side. The outer edge of the pupil is a larger circle that wraps the central pupil, like a round eyeball. Outside the eyeball, that is, the outermost circle, it looks like an eyelid. What's even more amazing is that there are strands of ring-shaped objects on the outer edge of the big circle, as if they are the eyelashes of this eye. And the inner edge of the big circle eyelid has countless cracks and broken lines, which extend towards the eyeball, like bloodshot near the eyeball. What a real eye. Why do I feel so scary? That look seems as if the Eye of Hell. This must be the Eye of Hell, the gate to hell. Devil Guardian, Anchor, I finally remembered. You hurry up and leave here. This place is very dangerous, and it is called the Gate of Hell for a reason. Countless scientists who have visited here have disappeared one by one, or met with accidents. Don't be superstitious, those are all rumors. There are many theories about the Eye of the Sahara. Some say it was formed by a meteorite collision. However, after surveys by various geologists, this theory was denied, because they did not find any fragments of meteorites here. Others say this is the gate to hell and the Eye of the Devil's Guard. This theory comes from some spreaders of opinion or religion, and it's a bit confusing. Some even say that this was caused by the huge and fierce release of energy when alien spacecraft took off. However, so far, the most convincing theory is another one. Geologists believe that this may be caused by the rise of geological structures or erosion. Under the endless yellow sand of the Sahara Desert is a hard rock layer. Perhaps hundreds of thousands of years ago, due to geological movements, the rocks under the desert were too deep and emerged from the sand. After the rocks were exposed to the ground, they were subjected to wind, sun, rain and other effects, and gradually formed a huge depression. Of course, these are just guesses. How the Eye of the Sahara was formed is still an unsolved mystery to this day. Just as Pingfan was explaining in the live broadcast room, suddenly, there was a loud shout from the sky. Anchor, it's a fighter plane. A fighter plane is chasing us. Oh my god. Are they here to welcome the Anchor? It's a little cool, but I can't tell which country they are from. Everyone said this, but he didn't think so. The fighter plane was not flying very high in the sky, and it had already entered the field of view of the video recorder, so Pingfan could directly zoom in to see the details of the fighter plane. Damn it. Pingfan watched with his own eyes as the gun barrel of the black fighter plane adjusted its position and aimed at him. Be careful, this fighter plane is coming for you. Quickly use the space tunnel and leave here. Be careful. Some people in the live broadcast room were sending barrages crazily. Of course, these people were the leaders who were paying close attention to the Wanji evaluators. For example, the chief on the big ship of Beijing Palace. At the first moment when the fighter plane aimed at Pingfan's gun barrel and spurted out flames, Pingfan raised his hand and raised the space blade and chopped it down gently. The door of the space channel appeared in front of him. However, this door was not prepared for himself. He didn't plan to escape. Even without the steel armor, he didn't plan to escape. No matter who comes, you are a touchstone. If you want to bully him, you have to consider your own weight. The crack in the space channel swallowed all the bullets fired by the fighter. At the same time, another crack appeared above the fighter, which was the end of the space channel. Bang, bang, bang. Dense bullets were spit out from another space crack and all fell on the fighter. There was a loud bang. The sky was like a brilliant firework. The fighter was annihilated. The live broadcast room fell into silence. Can the space tunnel be played like this? Not only the water friends in the live broadcast room, but all the special groups set up by various countries for the Wanji evaluators who were watching the live broadcast were panicking at this moment. Cut the space channel at will. With this black technology alone, he is invincible. He can reach any place on the earth at will. Isn't this invincible? Amid the explosion, Pingfan turned his head calmly. Although his face was virtualized, one could still feel the coldness in his eyes. Next, I will wait here for half an hour. If anyone wants to kill me, just come. Chapter 78 Licking until nothing is left. When I climbed to the top of the south peak, I felt that the sky was so close that I could pick the stars. At this moment, Li Pingfan returned to China. He was at the highest point of Huishan South Peak. Looking at this beautiful land, he couldn't help but feel excited. Looking around, he saw the mountains undulating, vast and boundless, the yellow river and Wei River like silk, and the vast plains like silk and cotton. The sky seemed to be within reach, and the floating clouds were lingering at his feet. Just below Li Pingfan was a 1,000-foot cliff, standing upright like a knife, with a deep ravine below. Here, Huishan South Peak landing. Li Pingfan reached out and took off the peaking opera mask from his face, and the video recorder automatically turned on the face blurring function. The reason why he had to wear a mask before was because he might see other people in the place he was going. Although the video recorder has the strongest face encryption function in history, it is only for online live videos, and there is no way to hide Li Pingfan's true appearance in real life. Li Pingfan took off his mask, then walked to a crooked tree on one side of the mountain, tied the mask to the branch, and fluttered in the wind. Standing at the top of Huishan, he felt a different charm. It was completely different from the feeling at Mount Everest. Compared with the feeling that Mount Everest was a forbidden zone for life, this place would make people feel proud. Only the sky is above, and no mountain is equal to it. Look up and the red sun is near. Look down and the white clouds are low. The last time I climbed Huishan, I still couldn't muster up the courage to climb Loyan Peak. I love you. Wait for me, I'm at the foot of Huishan now. I'll rush up right away. I want to live with you in the world, galloping and watching the prosperity of the world. TSK, I want to stop the car and make love with you, cough, sit, and watch the maple forest at dusk. Be careful, Mr. Zhao has been diving and has never been surpassed. Be careful that he will issue a challenge to you in a minute. Everyone. Li Pingfan said, some small accidents happened near the Eye of the Sahara today, which made me feel a little bad. Mighty and domineering Mr. Zhao sent Carnival * 99. Love you frown, and love you smile. Mighty and domineering Mr. Zhao sent Carnival * 99. Love you frown, and love you smile. Damn. Li Pingfan looked at the countless gifts that suddenly poured out in the live broadcast room and cursed. Didn't you say that gifts are not allowed? Mighty and domineering Mr. Zhao has been removed from the live broadcast room by the anchor. The dog licks the dog, licking everything. I feel sorry for Mr. Zhao. If this gift is given to other anchors, if she is a woman, if he is a person, I'm afraid that they will immediately drop in and listen to the command. The life of the rich is so simple and unpretentious. I'm a little envious. I feel sorry for Mr. Zhao, and I love you, the anchor. While Mr. Zhao is not here, let's tease the anchor together. But Mr. Zhao will be able to watch the replay tomorrow. The host is really merciless. He kicked people off whenever he wanted, and he was ranked first. To be more precise, he was ranked first in every live broadcast. Okay, let's get back to the point. Today's live broadcast of the evaluation is over. I don't think I need to introduce anything more, right? The capabilities demonstrated by this space plate should be obvious to all. From the ocean house, it instantly reached the Mariana Trench, climbed Mount Everest, and then went to the Eye of the Sahara Desert. After blowing up a fighter plane and destroying a tank, it extended its middle finger to summon a lucky missile to deal with other enemies. It went to the Eiffel Tower, the statue of the goddess, the Opera House, the Arc de Triomphe, and even to Huishan Loyan Peak. All of this is obvious to all. The total number of online viewers on the 6 major live broadcast platforms reached 17 million. This scale may be the strongest in the history of the live broadcast industry. With this data, I'm afraid it can already get an A-level rating. I'd like to give you a preview here. The next live broadcast will present a different and exciting performance. Li Pingfan, who was standing on the top of Mount Ur, walked towards the 1,000-foot cliff. Have you ever heard of parallel worlds? Li Pingfan smiled faintly and snapped his fingers at the video recorder. If you want to know, you can watch the live broadcast in 7 days. See you there. After that, he jumped. He fell into the endless abyss under the cliff. The 6 major live broadcast platforms immediately posted warning signs. This behavior is dangerous. Please do not imitate. Fuck, this is so exciting. The anchor hasn't cut the space channel yet. I'm going to fall to death. Parallel world? What do you mean? Are you going to open the parallel world and broadcast live in another world? 10,000 words reviewer. I knew there must be a reason for taking this idea in the first place. Anchor, can you tell me more? Does the parallel world really exist? How did you find the parallel world channel? How to prove it? And which world are you going to? Pingfan did not answer the barrage this time, but cut open the space channel and closed the live broadcast. With a plop, the crack of the space tunnel opened inside the ocean house, about 1 meter above the ground. Pingfan fell from it, looking a little embarrassed. I should have known not to show off. Fortunately, no one here saw Pingfan, who had just stood up. Before he could shake off the dirt on his butt, he saw the beast not far away looking at him in disbelief. In his eyes, in addition to admiration, there was also a little bit of disdain. Go dig stones. I wanted to cry. I just came back, and I didn't disdain it. I was just worried, because my eyes were bigger. After sending me out, Pingfan stretched and lay on the ground. This live broadcast was a bit exciting and thrilling. He also began to recall one by one. Is it because I often kill in the virtual world of Zombie Siege during this period? When facing the attacks of fighter planes and the bombing of tanks, I didn't feel the slightest fear, but felt adrenaline constantly surging. Pingfan fell into deep thought. He is just an ordinary college student. His life before becoming a reviewer was as ordinary as his name. Forget it. If the virtual reality experience device has this function, it would be great. He can just use this prop to improve his ability. Now, the dangers are getting more and more. There are always people who want to harm me. System, let's evaluate this live broadcast. Let me see which parallel world will be visited for the next live broadcast. It was just as Pingfan expected. He successfully scored an S in this live broadcast, and the effect presented was so shocking. As for the growth value, it was as high as 175 points, and the points were unprecedentedly as high as 201 points. This customized live broadcast task has been completed. The reviewer can get a reward. The permission to go to the parallel world for simultaneous live broadcast of the two worlds is temporarily opened. Do you want to randomly select a parallel world now? Can I choose now? Pingfan was so excited that he couldn't sit still and jumped up immediately. He was looking forward to it. After all, things like parallel worlds are a bit unbelievable, no matter how you think about it. Start drawing. Parallel world selection. Parallel world selection is completed. Reviewers can go there for the next live broadcast. Chapter 79. Going to a parallel world. The day after the live review ended, Pingfan became famous. Major entertainment news websites, or should I say major entertainment news websites in various countries, have many more posts and videos. Shock. A man wearing a Chinese Peking opera mask actually did this to the goddess statue angry. This masked man openly insulted the Arc de Triomphe of my great Germanic country. Strange news. The man who appeared out of thin air in the Eiffel Tower turned out to be this identity. The gods descended on the opera house, stopped to watch the sea for 10 minutes, and then disappeared instantly. Mr. Ambady, the piano master who was studying at the opera house that day, was inspired and played a new divine song on the spot. Gods watching the sea. The secret of this mysterious special effects illegal terrorist organization turned out to be that they had already placed people all over the world in advance to create an illusion of instant movement, the real identity of the masked man. The Wanji reviewer, a legend from China, suddenly appeared and had countless fans. Is his new review video going to reveal the parallel world? Is it a gimmick, or is it real? This man once appeared on Mount Everest. It is said that various countries have sent mountaineering teams to climb Mount Everest to find evidence of the man's existence. Huishan soared immortal. He came on the clouds, stood on Loyan Peak, jumped, and disappeared into the vast void. That's right. Now the news about the Wanji evaluator is not only a sensation in China, but also because he once borrowed the space blade and appeared on the Eiffel Tower, the statue of the goddess, the opera house, and the Arc de Triomphe, which caused a sensation. Of course, even though the governments of various countries began to refute the rumors at the first time, they said that this was a special effects anchor, and that people had been arranged long ago. They also hired experts to refute the rumors in person. Although there were official refutations, not many people believed it, but public opinion had been incited. The name of the wormhole evaluator has been popular on the global network platform for several days. Since the end of the last live broadcast, Pingfan has spent most of his time in school these days, except for occasionally brushing the dungeons in the virtual world, to improve his physical fitness. In addition to classes, he took time to visit Song Wanling's home once. However, only Song Wanling was left at home. According to Song Wanling, King Mui had been gone for many days, and there was no news. She didn't get through when she called. According to the timeline, King Mui should have disappeared after the evaluation of the virtual reality experience device was completed. This certainly had nothing to do with Pingfan. It was a good thing for him to have one less dangerous person. Today was destined to be a day that he couldn't calm down. It was not just Pingfan. In addition to the fans and water friends who had been waiting for 7 days, the special teams set up by various countries specifically for Pingfan were also nervously waiting for the live broadcast to start. The main reason was that Pingfan said something at the end of the last live broadcast evaluation. Have you ever heard of a parallel world? There was no follow-up to this sentence. It made countless fans and water friends want to kill this stuck dog. Damn it, dare you explain it clearly in advance, making people feel uncomfortable. Parallel world. So, is it to go to the parallel world, or to prove the existence of the parallel world through sim evaluation props? No matter which point, these 4 words are attractive enough. As well as scientific researchers from various countries, they were temporarily summoned together, waiting for the live broadcast to start. The time came to 9 o'clock in the morning. The wormhole reviewer account, which had been connected to the 6 major live broadcast platforms, went online on time and the live broadcast began. The person who appeared on the screen was still Pingfan, whose face and voice were encrypted. Just for this reason, more than one country has tried to find various masters to decipher it, but the results were surprisingly similar. Cool. No one can decipher it. Hello everyone, I'm the wormhole reviewer. Welcome to my live broadcast room. Pingfan was really shocked. He didn't expect that. As soon as the live broadcast started, the number of people pouring into the 6 major platforms had reached tens of millions, and this increase showed no sign of stopping. There is no way. The sensation he caused before was too big, and he dominated the headlines of major forums and video websites for many days in a row. It is difficult not to attract attention. Come here, I miss my beast every day. Oh my god, why are there so many people today? I'm a little uncomfortable. Be careful with what you say in this live broadcast. The big guys have already started to review something as scary as the parallel world. Do you think there are no big guys among those who are secretly peeking at the screen? I'm not happy. I can't openly tease my husband. Big guy, start the live broadcast. Don't keep us on suspense. You said you always hit the time, and it's so accurate every time. Don't you consider our feelings? Host, don't say anything else. Just give me an address and I'll send you a gift to show my appreciation. Are you planning to send razor blades upstairs? I still have 5 tons at home. Do you think we can do it together? I finally put down the brick in my hand. These days, I carry a brick to the street every day. If I see you, I will definitely shoot you to death. Looking at the barrage that keeps coming, Pingfan is under a lot of pressure. This is the first time I've put my life in danger by doing a live review. Ahem. Let's get straight to the point. Pingfan wiped the cold sweat from his face. Do you remember what I announced during the last live broadcast? Have you ever heard of parallel worlds? Yes, my live broadcast of the evaluation is also a customized live broadcast, and there is only one prop being evaluated. Of course, the parallel world has nothing to do with the props I evaluated, but I was fortunate enough to get the permission of the host for this live broadcast to temporarily go to the parallel world and start a live broadcast of the 2 worlds simultaneously. Pingfan explained with a smile, then put on the Iron Man armor, put on the nano god level middle finger, and carried the virtual reality experience device. Only then did he walk to the screen with confidence and stretched out his hand to grab the void. It turns out that the props for the evaluation have nothing to do with the parallel world. Wait, did I miss something important? Go to the parallel world and start a live broadcast of the 2 worlds. Can the anchor already travel through parallel worlds at will? Fuck, is there really a parallel world in this world? It can't be fooling us. Pay attention to the details. The host is talking about the parallel world that the host allows him to temporarily go to, which means that he should not have the ability to travel through parallel worlds. Yes, I don't have the right to travel through parallel worlds now. But, Pingfan stretched out his hand into the void and grabbed it back fiercely. The space was torn apart in his hands. Unlike the space channel opened with the space blade before, this torn space crack is darker and deeper. It feels a bit like the space crack opened by the system when he received the evaluation props, but it is more advanced. Of course, this scene was requested by Pingfan. If for nothing else, he just wanted to show off. I can still take you to see the parallel world, the multiverse that really exists in this universe. Please be prepared. This world is called, however. Before he finished speaking, the whole person disappeared into the space crack. Chapter 80 Evaluation Props. Pioneer number 7. The sky is blue. White clouds float by, and the sun is high on one side. Space. No, to be more precise, the place where the crack in the space-time plane opens is a high mountain, which seems not far away and within reach. Looking around, there is no vegetation on this high mountain, and it also presents a huge platform. There are only some strange stone pillars scattered here and there. These stone pillars are strange. Some look like swords, some look like knives, and some look like some monsters. Pingfan just walked out of the space plane crack above this platform. His eyes are like torches. Wearing steel armor, he came to a brand new parallel world. The air here is particularly sweet. Pingfan was worried that the creatures in this parallel world did not need to rely on oxygen to survive, or that the oxygen content here would be particularly scarce, so he put on deep sea walking equipment before putting on steel armor. This set of equipment has the effect of converting and absorbing oxygen. The oxygen at the bottom of the sea more than 10,000 meters deep is thin enough, and it can still sustain his use. When he just arrived in this world, Pingfan asked Jarvis to test the content of the surrounding gas, and the result was basically the same as that on Earth. Any Earthling coming here will not encounter any accidents due to environmental problems. In other words, he is safe. The air in this world is particularly fresh and sweet, Pingfan exclaimed. Although this world is also suitable for him from Earth to live, he did not rashly walk out of the steel armor. He still has to be careful. Danger is everywhere. Can you see it? I have now traveled through the time and space plane channel and came to a world parallel to the Earth dimension. Here, there are heaven and earth, stars, and universe. It is a brand new world parallel to our world. Because this temporary cross-world plane live broadcast came suddenly, the system intervened slightly. Ensure that the images shot by Pingfan's recorder can be transmitted to the 6 major live broadcast platforms in his original world. Similarly, Pingfan can also see various bullet comments from the 6 major live broadcast platforms through the split screen in his mind. What the hell, this is too foolish. I guess this is the space bridge built by the anchor with the space blade, and then moved to a high mountain we don't recognize, just to fool us. To be honest, I can't believe that this is a parallel world. What's the difference with the Earth we live on? That's right, host, you're not serious. No matter what you review, we support you, for the sake of realism. You can't fool people for the sake of performance and gimmicks. Are you starting to act so quickly? Also, host, you still didn't say what parallel world you went to. It's really funny. The above people still believe that the host went to a parallel world. How can such a thing exist? There are white clouds, sky, and sun, which is clearly still on Earth. Everyone, the name of this world is the Fantasy Martial World. The civilization here is a kind of Zoanfa civilization that is completely different from the technological civilization on Earth. I think if there are people who like to read fantasy novels, they should understand. You are talking too much nonsense. Fantasy novels? Why don't you go to the Daoki continent? Host, how do you prove that you came to the world of Zoanfa civilization? Can you show us the natives who practice Zoanfa? Ahem. Aboriginals? Yes. The reason why Pingfan wore the Iron Man armor and brought the virtual reality experience device was because of this. He knew where this place was, and this live broadcast will not be presented through the live broadcast platform of this world. Because, in this world, whether there is such a thing as live broadcast is probably unknown. Pingfan stood above the platform. He raised his hand and pointed to the sky. I'm ready. Let's start the live broadcast. As soon as the voice fell, the thick cumulus clouds in the sky seemed to be wiped out and disappeared without a trace in an instant. The cumulus clouds disappeared in an instant. Who dares to believe this? Apart from anything else, this special effect picture is so awesome. After the clouds disappeared, the sky quickly became blue and clear. It was as if a mirror was installed under the dome. A picture gradually appeared in the mirror. The protagonist in the picture was Pingfan in steel armor, projected onto the entire sky. Everyone, go out and see if the sky here has changed. No. So, did the anchor really go to a parallel world? I still can't believe it, but the anchor never cheats us. This is too hard to accept. That's right. His live broadcast in this parallel world has been projected into the sky by the system. In other words, in this world, anyone on this continent can see Pingfan's live broadcast, as long as they look up, covering the sky. Don't be surprised, the area covered by this live broadcast is only the continent we are on this time, which can also be called this planet, not the entire parallel world. Next, let's officially accept the props for this live broadcast evaluation. After saying that, the sky tore a crack. This scene also appeared in the sky of the Zuan for Civilization world. Then a cardboard box nearly 2 meters high and about 1 meter wide fell heavily and appeared steadily in front of Pingfan. Open the box. Pingfan opened the cardboard box in a few seconds. Inside was a human model. A metal human model with a dark silver light flashing all over. The height of the model is about 1.9 meters, and it is made based on the human appearance. This prop is called Pioneer number 7. It's a bit handsome, but what's the use? Don't worry, wait for the host to explain. I missed the first day of the 100x arm strength ball. Soldier number 7. It was not provided by someone in the plane world we are in. It has a lot of origins with the Iron Man armor I'm wearing now, and comes from the same plane world, the Marvel Universe. I think you should be familiar with the person who created it. Anyone familiar with Marvel should know it. No need to say the name. Let me tell you what it is made of first. Vibranium. To be more precise, it should be the second generation of vibranium. It is also called sound-absorbing steel and Nirvana steel. It is a metal that only exists in the Marvel Universe, and it is also one of the hardest materials in the Marvel Universe. It is produced in Wakanda. Pingfan's introduction was not finished yet. In the sky, gusts of strong wind suddenly surged, and the strong wind merged into a tornado, slanting towards the direction where Pingfan was. Critical moment. Pingfan hurriedly raised his hand, absorbed the violent wind element through the nano god level middle finger, and transformed it into a dense and sharp arrow of strong wind, stabbing in the direction of the attack. Fuck. Don't tell me that the strong wind was created by that thing in the sky. Same shit. How could that thing be on Earth? I suddenly believed the host. He must be in another parallel world. Chapter 81. Give me face. A huge monster was flying in the sky. It looked very strange. It had a pair of wings similar to those of an eagle, but its body was bare without feathers, covered with a layer of scales similar to fish scales, and its whole body was a strange red in the sun. Its head was like a grizzly bear, with a huge mouth full of sharp fangs. It was more than 10 meters long, flapping its wings in the sky, and when its wings moved, it was a violent tornado. Does this kind of creature exist on Earth? Obviously, it is unknown, and it is even more impossible to believe that it would be a terrifying creature on Earth. What is this? Oh, it's as big as Kun. That's not right. It's as big as a bear. That's not right either. This is such a weird thing. Is this really in another world? Boom. The wind element transformed by Pingfan through the nano god level middle finger turned into countless fine arrow rain, which penetrated the huge monster in an instant, and turned it into a hornet's nest. The scene was as miserable as it could be for a while. Similarly, the audience in the live broadcast room was shocked. The world of Zuan for Civilization was also shocked. The sky is a projection, projecting what Pingfan did on this high mountain platform. The whole world. As long as you look up and see the sky, as long as there are people in that place, you can see the scene of Pingfan reaching out to kill the monster in seconds. Who is this person? He actually killed the mountain swallowing beast with a single finger. Is the place where he is not the Dinxiante of the one for Holy Land? The mountain reaches the clouds, and the platform is like a new continent. Only the Dinxiante of the one for Holy Land can have such a scene. Yes, it can't be wrong. He said he came to our world to evaluate props. What does evaluation mean? Is the human-shaped magic weapon with a metallic feel a prop? The languages of the two worlds are naturally different. However, there is a system intervention, and Lee Pingfan's voice is naturally translated before it is transmitted to the projection covering the entire sky. Therefore, people in this world can understand it. After killing the monster in the sky, Lee Pingfan walked in front of Vanguard number 7 and looked up at the sky at the same time. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm the Wanji reviewer. I came to the Zuanfa world today just to do a prop review. Please give me some face from the Zuanfa world. Of course, if you don't want to give me some face, then come on, I'm here to give you some face. That's right. The props he reviewed this time were custom made. Now, let me continue to introduce this prop. Lee Pingfan walked to the side of Vanguard number 7, stretched out his hand and knocked it. Everyone should remember that I said before that it was made of second generation vibranium. Why is it called second generation vibranium? After experiencing the final battle, the King of Wakanda, Black Panther, realized the shortcomings of Wakanda in facing alien civilizations. So, he wanted to create a team of vanguards with vibranium as the main material. In this process, because of the competition with alien civilizations, they discovered a new element in the corpses of alien creatures and the wreckage of alien aircraft left in the country of Wakanda. By chance, a new element from an alien civilization collided with vibranium, producing an incredibly magical reaction. It was this reaction that purified the vibranium material. In the Marvel universe, the original hardness of vibranium was lower than that of adamantium, but now the alloy hardness of the second generation vibranium is far greater than that of adamantium. In addition, its other properties have also been enhanced. For example, because of its unique molecular structure, its ability to conduct almost no heat and kinetic energy is greatly enhanced. It is also better than the previous generation in terms of absorbing and converting heat and kinetic energy. This paragraph is adapted by Zuandia himself. Please be gentle if you are a fan of the original novel. This model of the Pioneer 7 is made of 100% second generation vibranium and is equipped with a unique operating system. No one except the King of Wakanda has the right to mobilize it. This prop is provided by the King of Wakanda, the well-known Black Panther. I hope that the reviewers of the world can make a review video for him. Because this is Wakanda's first second generation vibranium Pioneer 7. In the country of Wakanda, only Black Panther has the independent right to operate the original Pioneer 7 operating system. But now, after a slight modification of the system, Pioneer 7 will recognize Lee Pingfan as the master and will only follow Lee Pingfan's orders. Fuck. The original vibranium was already very dominant, and now it has been upgraded. But why didn't this part of the movie talk about it? Boss, after the timeline in the movie ends, does it mean that the world is paused? Haven't you heard that it is also an independent world, a world where real things happen every minute and every second? But how to evaluate it? The anchor wears Mark 5 to fight it? Why do I feel that the winning rate is not high? It's not low. It's that it can't win at all. The Mark 5 worn by Lee Pingfan will definitely not be the opponent of the Vanguard number 7. Everyone, don't forget that this is a world of Zuanfa. I think there should be a lot of touchstones. As soon as the voice fell, a loud shout came from a distance. Similarly, after the sound was transmitted, it was translated by the system when it reached Lee Pingfan's ears and the ears of everyone in the live broadcast room. Otherwise, they really couldn't understand what each other was saying. You Iron Man, I don't care who you are, no matter what you are wearing, and what kind of magic weapon you brought. Please leave my one for Holy Land immediately. The person who came was a master of one for Holy Land. At first, he specifically carried his machete, which weighed about 100 kilograms, and was more than 10 meters long, intending to chop to death the little bastard who came to their mountain to make trouble. However, on the way here, he saw with his own eyes that the Iron Man raised his hand and pointed, and then killed the mountain devouring beast. This scene was a bit scary. So on the way here, He threw away the machete in his hand first, fearing misunderstanding. After all, there are some things that can be communicated well, so don't fight and kill. In fact, it's not cowardly. I'm just worried that after blood is splashed on the spot, it will defile the Holy Land. The first touchstone of the evaluation is here. Pingfan smiled indifferently and took 2 steps forward. You said this is the one for Holy Land? Then are you the boss here? I'm asking about your realm, so that I can record the evaluation data for a while. Data? That's it. Can you fight? Fight? Are the natives of the Zuanfa world not very smart? Pingfan wanted to cry, but had no tears, since he couldn't explain it clearly. Number 7. Go over and teach him a lesson. He should fight back. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82, Little Native, do you have a lot of questions? This unlucky kid actually didn't have a high status in the one for Holy Land, and his cultivation was only above average. Because the one for Holy Land had just experienced a big fluctuation recently, the Holy Lord had changed positions, and he used to follow the old Holy Lord, so he was destined to be slaughtered. In order to curry favor with the new Holy Lord, after seeing the strange scene in the sky, he took the initiative to come to the one for Holy Land's Dinxiante to investigate. He really just wanted to come and have a chat. I didn't mean to do it. The unlucky master collapsed to one side at this moment, blood oozing out of his mouth, and his eyes blurred as he looked at the sky. It was so uncomfortable. Now he didn't even have the strength to crawl back. And even if he did, he wouldn't have the face to crawl back. He was killed in seconds. He was completely embarrassed. Please help me put a question mark on the face of this native brother who was embarrassed and was killed in seconds by number 7. Little native, do you have a lot of question marks? Too miserable. No, number 7 is too strong. One punch, just one punch. Everyone, pay attention to the hairstyle of number 7. He has no hairstyle, and his hair is shiny. As the saying goes, I'm honest. I have become bald and stronger. The strongest number 7. I challenge you. You little chuachas who like new things and hate old things. In my heart, my family is the strongest. Well, go and call a few more powerful ones. You really can't do the evaluation. There was no chance to even make a move. The native brother looked at Pingfan with resentment. It was so uncomfortable. He was defeated, and he still mocked people like this? Moreover, if he hadn't been unable to move, he would have collapsed long ago. Whoever comes can come. Just as he was talking, a fierce gale blew in the sky. At the same time, one after another, the roar of beasts with the power of destroying withered and rotten came. In the distance, it seemed like a thick black cloud. Looking closely, it turned out to be 7 or 8 mountain-eating beasts that were killed by Pingfan with one finger. It's this thing again. Pingfan was somewhat disappointed. If this monster was stronger, number 7 could be forced to practice with it, but it was too weak. Oh my god. Compared to Pingfan's calmness, the native brother's face turned green in an instant, almost the same as a pig's liver. Then he began to twist his body frantically, like a worm, struggling to crawl on the ground to escape. As a forbidden area of the one for Holy Land, Dinxiante is not guarded by heavy troops and masters for this reason. Here, you can often see terrible mountain-eating beasts. Because of this, Dinxiante is very safe, and basically no one would think of wandering here. Run, I know a way down the mountain. As long as you take me with you, I'm willing to tell you. The native shouted at Pingfan. There was no way. He really couldn't move. Seeing that Pingfan was unmoved, the native brother really had no choice. It's not good to be famous like this. Take me away. I'll tell you where the treasure left by the old Saint Lord is. The reason why the new Saint Lord in my family has not changed blood is that he is not sure who knows the information of the treasure left by the old Saint Lord. Treasure? Asshole, I came here specially to save you, and you dare to harm the Holy Land. A vigorous and powerful voice came from the air. Then, Pingfan saw a man in a long robe, who could shrink 100 meters in one step, coming elegantly in the air. Oh my god, the exiled immortal in my mind. He is so handsome, with waist-length hair fluttering in the wind, so soft. Is he using Rejoice? A little brother who can debut at any time. I like him so much. I may have to change my feelings for someone else. Anchor, I support you to cut him. Cut him with number 7. Cut him hard. A man who is more handsome than me, except for the reviewer boss. No one else can live. That's it. I guess all the other men will die, except the reviewer boss. Although I don't think this man is handsome, I'm not happy with his pretentiousness. Cut him. Holy Lord, that's not what I mean. I'm just tactically confusing the enemy. My heart is with the Holy Land, and I'll always be loyal to you. Number 7. Cut him. Pingfan was also unhappy. He hated the most the man who was more handsome than himself. The reason why Song Jae survived was because he was slightly inferior to him. And this guy, not only was he as good looking as himself, but he also loved to pretend. Isn't he asking for a beating? Only he can do such a thing as pretending. Everyone else must die. Boom. After receiving the order, number 7 bounced up suddenly. The ground where his feet stepped on was cracked by the powerful force, and countless cracks spread out. The speed of the pioneer number 7 was very fast. The Iron Fist was even more ruthless. The so-called Holy Lord didn't react at all. He was knocked back several meters away by this powerful punch. At the same time, the mountain swallowing beasts in the distance flew over. Number 7. Kill them together. Bang. With a loud bang, an airwave generated by the collision of the fist with the head of the mountain swallowing beast spread out. It formed a circle and spread outward in the air. It was just this one punch. The head of the mountain swallowing beast had been hit into the body, and the huge mountain swallowing beast became a meatball. This scene shocked everyone. Although the Holy Lord also has the ability to kill the mountain swallowing beast with one blow, it is definitely not to use the head of the mountain swallowing beast. Its head is the hardest part of its body. It is also called the first iron-headed beast in the world of Zuanfa. Hard-headed. The Holy Lord stabilized his body in the air and couldn't help but get serious. He pulled out a long sword with a blue glow from the brocade bag beside his crotch. Oh no, his belt. You are finished. My one for Holy Land's heaven-slaying sword is one of the world's divine weapons that is refined every year at the Dinxiante. You are finished. The native brother lying on the ground, who was no different from a maggot, laughed out loud. The Holy Lord is here. There are expectations but no surprises. You all must die. Boom. The Holy Lord held the knife in both hands. He leaped up. After getting close to number 7, the long knife slashed down diagonally. That knife seemed to drive the light of the sky, and thunder was faintly visible. The Holy Land of all laws, the heavenly sword will draw thunder and kill you. After the loud noise, the Holy Lord was still as steady as a mountain, with long hair dancing in the wind, quite majestic. Number 7 stood on the ascension platform. There was another loud noise. Right in front of number 7, a section of the mountain was cut off, and fell into the abyss below. Shocked. This scene was so spectacular that the barrage in the live broadcast room also stopped for the first time. 99% of the people were so shocked that they forgot to type. And on this continent where the Zuanfa civilization grew wildly, all the natives who could see this live broadcast also opened their mouths wide. Although the Holy Land of all laws has changed its owner, the new Holy Lord seems to be more terrifying. That knife triggered thunder. Several mountain-eating beasts that rushed in from the sky were affected, and some were killed on the spot. This could be considered one of the strongest swordsmanship on the entire continent. Of course, those old monsters who were in seclusion and practicing in seclusion could not be counted in this category. Just when the whole world seemed to be silent with the sword of the All-Faith Saint Lord, a clear sound came, shocking everyone, including the Saint Lord himself. Chapter 83, Steal My Limelight. Damn. Number 7, please cut me some slack. Pingfan was upset because the knife was broken. That knife obviously chopped No 7's arm. But there was only a shallow mark on its arm, as if it would disappear if it was wiped with a hand. Can't you see how cool that knife is? You can ruthlessly break a pretentious weapon. Bad review. I have to give a bad review for this. Pingfan really liked that knife, especially the ability to trigger the thunder, which was so cool. Number 7 was innocent. However, its system was not as smart as Jarvis's. Just in time. Let me explain to everyone that there is no emotion in No 7 system, nor any ability to make independent judgments. Because King Black Panther is worried that if this terrible army has wisdom or can judge right from wrong, it may cause a world crisis. After all, a vanguard warrior made of 100% second generation vibranium can basically sweep the world. So, number 7 only knows how to obey its first master. Even if it is asked to self-destruct, it will not hesitate. Please self-destruct. I want to see fireworks. The above is lame, but I like it. Please self-destruct. Host, please have a grand fireworks show. I will definitely give you gifts. System prompt. I was removed from the live broadcast room because I smoke and don't drink. Ahem. Keep a low profile. Pingfan would never let the Vanguard number 7 self-destruct. Isn't that courting death? The Holy Lord hadn't reacted yet. He stood blankly in the air. It wasn't for the sake of concave shape. It's just that the first magic weapon of the One for Holy Land, one of the strongest weapons on the Zuan for continent, it actually broke him. He just became the Holy Lord of the One for Holy Land today, and he chopped the peerless magic weapon that has been passed down for thousands of years. No, thousands of years, into pieces in the whole world. All those who witnessed this magnificent performance opened their mouths wide and stared blankly at the sky. It's really amazing. Pooh. Compensate? The Holy Lord turned his head. Damn, my magic weapon was shattered, and I only cut a little scar on your magic weapon, and you ask me to compensate. To be honest, this is a coincidence. The Holy Lord's poo was just a simple vent of dissatisfaction. What a shitty magic weapon. It's not as good as a kitchen knife. And Pingfan heard it as compensation. Holy Lord. The unlucky native brother didn't know what to choose now. Don't call me Holy Lord. I don't want to be the Holy Lord anymore. Whoever wants to be the Holy Lord can be. That's right. He wanted to run away. In addition to the Holy Lord, there are some old monsters in the One for Holy Land. Their cultivation has reached a very high level and they don't ask about the affairs of the Holy Land. But this magic weapon is a treasure of the One for Holy Land. If it is broken in his hands, those old monsters will definitely not let him go. Forget it, I didn't call you. The native brother is a man who knows the times. He has a bursting desire to survive, and he immediately looked at Pingfan. Holy Lord, One for Holy Land cannot be without a master for a day. I would like to ask you to be a Holy Lord. Pingfan and the Holy Lord. Oh no, it was the former Holy Lord who was now full of question marks. That's right. At this moment, an older and more powerful voice came out. It resounded throughout the universe. It gave people a feeling that the voice seemed to come from all directions. Yes, Supreme Elder, what that bastard said makes sense. One for Holy Land cannot be without a master for a day. Fellow Taoist hiding in the armor, are you willing to be the Holy Lord of my One for Holy Land? The voice sounded again, and the former Holy Lord's body actually trembled, and his face no longer had a calm expression. Instead, it was full of panic, and even beads of sweat fell. Escape. This was his only thought. He turned around and rushed away. You destroyed the magic weapon, and you still want to escape like this? Boom. Countless thunderbolts rushed from all directions, all falling on the Holy Lord. In a blink of an eye, a spark bloomed in the sky, and finally everything returned to peace. The former Holy Lord, who was as good looking as Pingfan, was completely cold, and received a box lunch. I can recommend you to be the Holy Lord of One for Holy Land, as long as you hand over the metal puppet to me, and I will keep it for you. How about it? Coming for the Vanguard number 7? Is he strong? Pingfan ignored the voice, and looked at the native brother. At this moment, the native brother shrank on the ground and trembled, not daring to raise his head. Holy Lord, why don't you kneel down and thank the ancestor for his grace? How many years has the ancestor not appointed the Holy Lord? Kneel down. Pingfan walked slowly to the side of the virtual reality experience device and reached out to touch the nostrils of Iron Man's mask. This was also disliked by Jarvis. Then how about you be the touchstone? Arrogant. This sentence resounded throughout the continent through the projection in the sky. There is a reason why the One for Holy Land can become a first-class sect in this Zuan for continent. The Grand Elder of the One for Holy Land can be said to be one of the few people who can stand on the top of the mountain in this entire continent. He was actually called over to be a touchstone. Okay Junior, I hope you won't regret it when I come in person. The old ancestor's voice also paused slightly, but soon came out again. Then, a strange light emerged from the world. The light came from a corner not far away, and rushed straight into the sky. Sure enough, when the peak appears, the world will produce strange phenomena. The ancestor of the one for Holy Land was once known as the strongest 1,000 years ago. It's over. This incomprehensible reviewer is probably going to be finished. It's just right. I guess the ancestors of other holy places are also secretly spying on the strength of this one for ancestor, whether he has improved after so many years. That's right, at their level, it is enough to use the saying a little difference leads to 1,000 miles of difference. The scene of the light column surging into the sky can be said to be full of style and very showy. Can you still steal the limelight? Pingfan looked at the comments in the live broadcast room and felt that his position was in jeopardy. He slapped the control switch of the virtual reality experience device. In an instant, thick clouds appeared in the sky. The rosy clouds penetrated the clouds, shining on the immortal platform like a fairy magic, shining on Pingfan and the Pioneer number 7, the two Iron Men. The rosy clouds are not the peak, but the beginning. In the rosy clouds, the fairy music is played, and everyone will be intoxicated. There is no lack of passion in the tranquility, and there is no loss of grandeur in the gentleness. Goddamn high mountains and flowing water, harmony between the zither and the harp, my god. The anchor is too good. This wave of operation is a bit 6. I give you 82 points, and the remaining 18 points are given to you in the form of 666. That's right. Fairy music, it is the song of high mountains and flowing water. It's a pity that people in this world have never heard of it. Along with what they think is fairy music, a colorful glazed head popped out of the clouds. Colorful phoenix. When the wings flapped, thousands of feet of rays of light fell. At the same time as the phoenix was born, a golden 5-clawed dragon was rolling over the sea of clouds. Wherever it passed, thunder was everywhere. At this time, the music reached its most exciting point. In the sky, the Milky Way was sprinkled with the music. And at the end of the Milky Way is Chapter 84 I'm a piece of shit. Supreme Divine Weapon. Pingfan has read Journey to the West in various versions. He has seen various grand scenes of heavenly soldiers and generals coming on clouds. Now, he is just borrowing one of the versions. At the end of the Milky Way, there are countless heavenly soldiers and generals in silver armor. They step on the top of the sky, holding divine weapons. The drums of war are beating, and every time they sound, the world seems to be bombarded by thunder. Fuck, this special effect. Anchor, I'm from Malaysia Entertainment. We are going to shoot a new version of The Monkey King is Back. Can we use the footage of the heavenly soldiers and generals? Of course it is not free. I can give some gifts as a deposit now. The Monkey King again. Have you ever considered the Monkey King's feelings? Don't you even ask him if he wants to come back. Yes, I think the Monkey King also wants to take a break, but he is back. Before he gets too warm, give me gifts to kill you. Pingfan shouted hurriedly. He can't get a penny for giving chicken feather gifts. Let's talk about cooperation after I finish showing off. Others who want to cooperate now have time to consider. My offer is very high. After saying that, Pingfan continued to show off. The grand scene that was created with great difficulty was ruined by the grandson who wanted to give gifts. However, it was enough. The heavenly soldiers cheered. The colorful phoenix and the dragon soared behind him. The aborigines of the continent where the Zuanfa civilization spread out were very fond of this. Is this really an immortal? No wonder he said he came to our world temporarily. He is really an immortal. Look at what's behind him. Isn't it the immortal soldiers or something? Can someone who can summon the dragon and phoenix be an ordinary person? The immortal landed on the immortal platform. It's confirmed. This is a real immortal. That's right. If he is not an immortal, how could he take out a magic weapon and easily shatter the peerless magic weapon of the one for Holy Land? Perhaps, in the eyes of the immortal, the peerless magic weapon of the one for Holy Land is just a kitchen knife. It's over. The strongest peak in the world. What will cause strange phenomena when it comes to the world? In front of the immortal, it's just the light of a firefly. Just when all the people on the whole continent who witnessed this grand scene were amazed, the ancestor of the one for Holy Land has not yet been born. He restrained the strange phenomenon. The pillar of light that reached the sky disappeared little by little, and finally it was completely invisible. I dare not pretend anymore. This is like a big man in the bronze zone, not a scrap metal zone, meeting a great god in the king zone, or a 100-star one. So, is the ancestor of the one for Holy Land going to pretend that he has never appeared? Isn't the scene a bit too quiet? Isn't he going to come in person? The strange phenomena have been caused. Isn't this the same as taking off your pants and saying that relatives are coming? The soldiers are incompetent, and the generals are incompetent. The one for Holy Land should be renamed the Bear's Nest in the future. The supreme elder of the one for Holy Land, their ancestor, is going to slack off. Just pretend that he has never bubbled up and stay in his cave honestly. Why do he have to come out to do evil? I really want to slap myself in the face. Immortals should not be fussy with ants like him. Wrong. Very wrong. Pingfan is not an immortal. Moreover, Pingfan does not like to fuss about details. He likes to fuss about details. The main thing is that it is not easy to find someone who can be a test subject for number 7. Hey, you're not dead, are you? Pingfan walked up to the unlucky native and kicked him. He just added a special effect to make his and no 7's appearance look more high-end. He didn't intend to scare people to death with special effects. Holy Lord, no, ancestor, no, immortal, I'm still alive, you order. The unlucky native was lying on the ground, his crotch wet again and again, again, and again. It was really unlucky. Where does your ancestor live? I know, it's in the Chennai cave at the foot of the south peak. As he said that, the native brother pointed in a direction. This scene, as well as the conversation between the two of them, was completely projected by the system onto the screen in the sky. Not only was it heard by the people of the entire Zuanfa continent and the water friends in the live broadcast room, it also included the ancestor who was hiding in the Chennai cave at the moment, trembling and constantly slapping his big mouth with his hands. Little bastard, if I can escape this disaster by chance, I will definitely kill you. No, half dead, save you, and then kill you again. The ancestor was panicked, so panicked. Boom. Soldier number 7 jumped down from the platform. At super fast speed, he rushed to the cave at the foot of the south peak. The air moved with his movements, making bursts of explosions. Can he crush the air? This is too scary. Soldier number 7, beat an old man in public, will be on the headlines tomorrow. Is this how the world of immortals works? Why do these people seem a little cowardly? It's not entirely their fault that they are cowardly. It's the anchor who is too scary, like a demon. After a while, a roar came from the cave, and dust rose up. Then an old man was thrown out in a mess like a kite with a broken string. Ancestor. Although the unlucky native brother was very cowardly, his eyes were very useful. At this moment, their ancestor's white robe was completely destroyed. His hair and beard were covered with dust. When he was thrown out by number 7, he immediately knelt down. He didn't resist at all. Resisting in front of an immortal, isn't that courting death? Immortal, I was wrong, please. The ground began to tremble before the ancestor finished his apology. He tried to look up. Not far away, monks in uniform robes rushed over. All of them were disciples of their one for Holy Land. The ancestor was very moved at this moment. Sure enough, the one for Holy Land was still as solid as a piece of iron plate, indestructible. Plop. The next moment, when these tens of thousands of disciples approached the Dinxi ante, they knelt down at the same time. Are you going to plead for me? The immortal should not embarrass me. Welcome, ancestor. Tens of thousands of disciples shouted at the same time and knelt down to Pingfan. Old man, do you have a lot of questions? Ahem. Pingfan didn't want to be the ancestor, mainly because it was too damn embarrassing to be the ancestor of this bunch of trash. Today is probably the most uncomfortable day in the history of one for Holy Land. But they are not afraid. They don't care about face, and they don't care whether they will be seen by people all over the continent. As long as they curry favor with this immortal, one for Holy Land can walk sideways on this continent. Very impressive. Forget it, I don't plan to kill your ancestor, but I want to ask, is your ancestor the strongest in the world? The touchstone didn't come out, so this live broadcast was incomplete, and he had to keep working hard. Except for you, the immortal ancestor, he should be the strongest. I'm nothing. The ancestor was very angry. Immortal ancestor, don't listen to the nonsense of these bastards. I'm not strong. Not only am I not strong, I'm a bit of a wimp, and most importantly, I'm a coward. I can see that. But, immortal ancestor, if you want to find the strongest, I know where the strongest is in the world. Oh. Tell me about it. Wuji Holy Land, West Palace, Chyanhuashan Mountain, Nanling Divine Sword Manor. Just as the ancestor was talking about them one by one person couldn't help but remind him, ancestor, Nanling Divine Sword Manor was destroyed a few years ago. Oh, then the first three have the strongest people in the world. And I know where they are. Immortal ancestor, how about I take you there? Chapter 85, The Old Ancestors War. I feel like the anchor is being used as a pawn, but I won't say it. I also feel that this old guy is very bad. Anchor, kill this old ghost with a bad conscience. In addition to the barrage and the live broadcast room, many cultivators who were watching the entire Zuanfa continent fell into deep thought. It's not surprising that there are monsters in the world at the same level as the ancestors of the Wanfa Holy Land. There are many. But why do the places he mentioned sound a little familiar? It seems that they have some conflicts with Wanfa Holy Land, especially the Divine Sword Manor. I heard that their Divine Sword Patriarch once snatched a woman from the Patriarch of Wanfa Holy Land. This old ghost is so insidious. Wanfa, I fuck your whole family. How can I be the strongest? You are being provoked. Wanfa, my sword is thirsty. If God can bless me to survive this absurd disaster today, I will definitely chop you to death. You bastard. Everyone in Chyanhuashan, listen to my order. Immediately lead the sect to attack Wanfa Holy Land. I will go there first to meet my ancestor, and everyone else must be quick. Wanfa bastard, I beg you to be a human being. You are such a piece of shit. Panic. The most panicked ones are the ancestors of the major sects, that the old bastard Wanfa said. They are just spectators. They are just slacking off and watching the show. They actually let Wanfa, this bastard, lead the fire here. If he can survive, he will definitely be killed. Pingfan didn't care whether what the Wanfa Patriarch said was true or not. He only cared about who was the strongest. After all, he was a qualified, emotionless professional reviewer. He had to sort out the review results required by the customer. Challenge the strongest. Ancestor, do you want me to lead the way? Go ahead, I'll follow you. Pingfan summoned the Pioneer number 7 back. He had the ability to fly and then walk to the side of the virtual reality experience device again. After determining the position coordinates within a radius of 50 meters of the virtual reality experience device, he imported the data he had set in advance. Because of this, although he was in the form of Iron Man, carrying the virtual reality experience device, in the eyes of others, he was sitting on the dragon head. The dragon was the golden dragon he had made through the virtual reality experience device before. Pioneer number 7 sat on the back of the colorful phoenix. How high the style is. The most important thing is that no matter where he goes, the exciting BGM of high mountains and flowing water is always around him. Looking down, all the monks in the Wanfa Holy Land kowtowed and looked like they were sending him off respectfully. The embarrassed Wanfa Patriarch led the way obediently. Does it feel so good to show off? Pingfan couldn't help but think of a sentence. Showing off is like the wind, always with me. I reflect on myself 3 times a day and find that it is others who are wrong. It's a pity that this journey of showing off has not crossed the entire continent, but only passed a few hills. A long voice of Immortal Master came from afar. My Immortal Master, I'm the second son of the West Palace. You came to this world, and the second son didn't come to visit you. It's really a sin to die. This scene. The world was also shocked. The second son? Isn't this the second emperor of the West Palace? Fuck, another peak is born. Think about the time when the peak generation fought in the sky thousands of years ago. There were constant strange phenomena in the world. Every peak generation who came out had to ensure that his strange phenomena overwhelmed the other side. This time, one is more low-key than the other. The second emperor is a bit shameless. Pingfan was speechless and didn't know how to answer. My Immortal Master, before Xiaozi atones for his sins, please allow me to chop the old dog in front of me to death. I'm clearly the second in the world, but he spreads rumors that I'm the strongest. If I don't kill him, his Tau heart will be in chaos in the future. Don't compete with me. As he was speaking, a middle-aged man with a red afro came on fire. Immortal ancestor, I'm Zioho of Cheyenne Huashan. I want to chop the old dog one for to death. I wonder if you agree. Let me do it. As he was speaking, a man who looked very immortal in the sky came flying on a sword. Immortal master, I'm Zio Wu from Wuji Holy Land. Look at my too thick and short eyebrows. You should have an impression of me. At this moment, not only Li Pingfan had a face full of question marks. The whole world was like this. The world has changed, and the ancestors are vying to be younger brothers one by one. I'm afraid the strongest peaks of Zuan for continent are all here. I must not be awake. At the same time, Li Pingfan's live broadcast room couldn't be controlled. What kind of man is this? What kind of charm does he have that can turn the ancestors of the other world into bootlickers in a second? The person above is smart. If there is a headline tomorrow, I will write this. It will definitely become popular. TSK, is it strange? I can do it too. Don't forget, this man's charm is not only shining in the other world, there are also many bootlickers in our world. Mighty and domineering Mr. Zhao, I'm proud to be a bootlicker. Mighty and domineering Mr. Zhao, Li Pingfan was chilled. This broken world. The reason why he was so high profile and arrogant at the beginning was to irritate these people. Completed the evaluation. Unexpectedly, the desire to survive of these guys was stronger than one another. Grandmaster, let me take a look at the palace. Is the dragon throne comfortable to sit on? If not, change it immediately. Ugh, ancestor, you have come to my immortal platform. I will immediately arrange for people to build a new immortal palace on the immortal platform to kill your broken doghouse in seconds. You bastard, you dare to call someone else's house a doghouse? I'm just scolding you, so what? Do you dare to do it in front of the immortal ancestor? You are so strong. Go and be a touchstone. The whole audience was silent. The world seemed to be silent. These terrible people who can destroy the world, if they are picked out alone, are now gathered together to talk nonsense. This kind of thing is unheard of. After all, in the past, they were the kind of tough guys who would take up the knife and fight if they were unhappy with each other's eyes. Now they have become the kings of talking nonsense. Ancestors are ancestors. Even if they curse in the street, they must be the strongest. Domineering. My ancestors curse the most fiercely, and we are the strongest. You are really the strongest when you are strong enough to pit the ancestors. The ancestors were helpless and panicked. Since none of you are the strongest. Yes, the immortal is my teacher. We are so weak, but I can recommend a few of the strongest. I have some too, and I can recommend them. The damn Bichoan Mansion Lord is known as the immortal of the world. At the same time, the Bichoan Mansion Lord was watching the grand live broadcast in the sky. When he heard Cheyenne Huashan Zioho mention him, his beard jumped up in anger. Stop. Li Pingfan interrupted several people. Forget it, I don't know where Bichoan Mansion is, but you guys should be very strong together, so come together. As he said that, Li Pingfan flew towards the hill not far away. Then he ordered at the same time. Number 7, give them a beating. Before the ancestors could react, Number 7 hit them with an iron fist. Show your shame. Although they were cowardly, they had to deal with it when the time came. The Cheyenne Huashan patriarch took the brunt of the attack. He raised his hands horizontally, and a huge fireball suddenly fell from the sky. It hit soldier number 7 fiercely. With a loud bang, the fireball was overwhelming. Soldier number 7 was smashed to the ground, and there was an explosion. The smoke and dust dissipated. The ground was sunken into a large pit that was 100 meters wide and more than 10 meters deep, and number 7 was lying in it. At this time, several ancestors looked at each other. The magic weapon of the immortal was too weak. At this moment, an idea emerged in their minds at the same time. Their eyes also looked at Li Pingfan, who was watching the show quietly on the hill not far away. At this time, a loud noise was heard. Chapter 86, How dare you call yourself this lord in front of me? The loud noise came from the pioneer number 7 who fell in the deep pit. It originally shone with a light silver metal shell, but suddenly it became extremely red. Violent energy surged on its body, and waves of heat rose one after another. Boom. Endless flames, like a mouthful of magma erupting. It rushed out from the body of Pioneer number 7 and blasted towards the several strong-mouthed ancestors in the sky. The flames came fiercely, and the several strong men in the sky had no time to react and were engulfed by the flames. The characteristics of vibranium can absorb and transform heat and kinetic energy. Coincidentally, the attack that the Xianhuashan ancestor is proud of is the flame. Boom. In a blink of an eye, Pioneer number 7 surged again and rushed straight into the sky. Vibranium material hardly conducts heat energy, so this kind of attack did not cause any injuries to it. Let me see it. The Wormhole ancestor, who was beaten horribly before, jumped out, put his hands together, and raised them above his head. Endless spiritual energy began to converge in the air, and in a blink of an eye, it condensed into a huge hammer. The giant hammer smashed down, and for a short time, the space where its cut surface touched formed a vacuum state. Its strength was very terrifying. The fist and hammer collided. Flames flew up one after another, like a firebird spreading its wings. The world trembled, and all the trees within a radius of 100 meters were destroyed into dust. The next moment, the other fist of soldier number 7 touched the flames, and the hot energy gathered on his fist. Crack. The explosion of flame energy, coupled with the strength of soldier number 7 itself, completely shattered the giant hammer, reduced to a little light, and disappeared between heaven and earth. Several powerful men made consecutive moves, and every move, and every style was powerful. In a short while, looking around, the combat area had completely collapsed. The ground collapsed for several meters, and the sky was eclipsed. Several big mouths were breathing heavily. After this series of fights, they understood a fact. The fact is that they couldn't kill this thing, and of course, this thing couldn't kill them for a while. However, if it is a protracted war, they are not opponents. After all, they are human beings, with physical strength and spirit. Once they are exhausted for a long time, they will reveal their flaws, if they are not careful, and once they reveal their flaws, they may die. This metal man is different. From beginning to end, his condition has not been reduced at all, and he is still strong. The kind of terrifying strong. Ancestor immortal, let us go. We admit defeat. The initial indifference has now turned into respect. At the beginning, when they saw the Pioneer number 7 being hit into the ground by the ancestor of Skyfire, they even thought that there was a possibility that the immortals could fight. Now it seems that they are wrong. A magic weapon evaluated by the immortals is already so powerful. How could they be the opponent of others? Number 7, come back. Pingfan waved his hand and asked number 7 to return to his side. At this moment, number 7 was a little damaged, but it was not a big problem. Next, let's evaluate another function of number 7. You should all know about nanotechnology. The nano function of Mark 50 can immediately restore the suit after it is damaged. Soldier number 7 has also developed this technology. As soon as the words fell, the scars on Soldier No. 7's body began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a blink of an eye, it became brand new again, looking like it had just appeared, and it was impossible to tell that it had experienced a battle. It has a large amount of spare second generation vibranium stored in it, so there is no need to worry about it being destroyed when encountering a strong person. Pingfan ignored the strong-mouthed ancestors who lowered their heads in the void and began to evaluate it. It's just that it's too difficult to make the second generation vibranium, and the synthesis rate is extremely low. Since this is their exclusive technology, the detailed production method of the second generation vibranium has not been told to us, but it should be understandable that, if 10 grams of vibranium are successful, 1 gram of second generation vibranium can be generated. Moreover, the success rate is extremely low, and the synthesis is too difficult. This is probably the end of this evaluation video. I think everyone should have seen the combat effectiveness of Pioneer number 7. The evaluation is almost over here. These cunning guys, even if they introduce people, their strength is not much different from this. They just want to eliminate their enemies through Pingfan. Old Lee knows this very well. Everyone, the next evaluation live broadcast is officially over. We came to this world temporarily this time, and we have 1 day. Next, I will start a full day live broadcast, and then take everyone to appreciate the scenery of the other world. Pingfan doesn't have to rush back. The strength of Pioneer number 7 is almost enough to walk sideways in this world. In addition, his nano god level middle finger, the combat effectiveness should also be good. Okay, we want to see what this world has become. Let's taste the food of another world. Let's see if there are any differences in food culture. Yes, we can also see the scenery. The scenery near the Dinxiante in the Wan for Holy Land was originally very beautiful, but after this battle, it now looks like it was bombed by missiles. It's a pity that the anchor only has one day, otherwise he could open a 2-world tour group in the future, which would definitely be very popular. Yeah. Pingfan nodded involuntarily. This barrage is a bit interesting. It can be considered. With this system, what is impossible? In the past, who would dare to believe that Iron Man is real? Isn't it different now? Can I make a reservation in advance? Can I swipe gifts and book a few places in advance? Be careful upstairs. Swipe gifts to kill you. Send you a plane ticket in minutes. Can anyone explain why the anchor doesn't allow swipe gifts when I just arrived? What a pity. I still have more than 1,000 pocket money, so I said I would give it to the anchor and let him call me dad. You must be dreaming. Do you know how much money the number 1 who was cleared out spent? Forget it. Don't provoke my brother. Anchor, make way. Let's go to this other world first. Okay, I'll ask those strong-mouthed ancestors to see if they have any recommendations. When Pingfan was about to go over, a fierce wind surged in the sky. The dust and trees were all swept up, and the sky became dim, hurting my beasts. Do the human race want to go to war? A roar came from the cold wind. Yes, the old ancestor Tunshan. How can he still be alive? Didn't he die 3,000 years ago? This momentum, the wind that covers the sky and the sun, and this familiar voice, there is no mistake. Several old ancestor level figures showed horrified expressions at this moment. Old ancestor Tunshan? Pingfan's heart couldn't help but get nervous. There aren't many people in my mountain swallowing beast clan, and we've been slaughtered like this. I'm going to kill them all today. The voice was very loud, as if it came from the sky. A light appeared in the void, and a figure walked out of the light. He had wings on his back, and the wings were spread out enough to block the sun. The world became extremely dark in an instant. If there were no system projections in the sky, this world, at least this part of the world, would have lost its color long ago. It's him. It's really the swallowing heaven ancestor, a monster who once dominated the Zuan for world for 5,000 years. His swallowing heaven. Don't be arrogant. My human immortal is here. Don't force it, or you'll lose your wings. Human immortal? A sarcastic voice came from the light in the void. This seat touched a barrier at the edge of the void 3,000 years ago. If there are really immortals in the world, this seat wants to see what kind of immortal he is. Boom. A long halberd formed by the gathering of strong winds pierced through the void and shuttled in. Wherever he passed, the space was like a piece of glass, and cracks appeared. The target was Pingfan. At the critical moment, number 7 suddenly stepped forward, holding the Gangfeng long halberd with both hands. The powerful force pushed it back hundreds of feet and smashed it heavily on a distant mountain. It seems that I will come out of retreat today to kill immortals, and prove my way. The voice became more and more contemptuous, and with a flick of his hand, tens of thousands of Gangfeng transformed into long halberds, rushing towards Pingfan like a whistling cold rain. At this moment, Pingfan stood calmly on the top of the mountain. He raised his finger slightly, and on his finger was a nano god level middle finger. He smiled indifferently. In front of me, you dare to call me the seat? Chapter 87 The Last Dragon in the World. Everyone's eyes. Several human ancestors, all the people in the world who witnessed this live broadcast, and all the people in the original world who were watching the live broadcast. Their hearts were in their throats at this moment. Those tens of thousands of Gangfeng halberds can slaughter a slightly smaller city. Can this big guy really withstand this scale of attack? Anchor, come back soon. Don't underestimate any world. There are people at the top in any world. That's right, I'm the Zuan for civilization. In a world with a large scale of development, how could there be only a few cowards who are big bosses? It turns out there are bigger bosses. Don't be cowardly, face them head on and kill them. Pingfan was indeed not cowardly. He was ready. He wanted to try the strength of the nano god level middle finger. Similarly, if he couldn't withstand it, the system would open a space channel for him in the blink of an eye and send him back. Although that would be more embarrassing. Moreover, if he ran away directly, he would lose number 7. He had to delay a little and try it. Pingfan's finger, raised from afar, emitted a ray of light. After sensing the endless wind element, the light became crazy and began to absorb it wantonly. At this moment, no one of the long halberds could get close to him. Pingfan had already resisted the fierce wind with his own strength. Even the mountains and forests around him were destroyed in the fierce wind. This scene lasted for more than a minute. All the long halberds were absorbed by the god-level middle finger. I want to see how you call yourself this seat. Boom. Pingfan pointed to the sky with one hand, returning all the element. With the other hand, he slapped the virtual reality experience device beside him. Virtual blessing. The wind bursting out from his fingertips looked like a vast dragon in the eyes of everyone. Pretending to be cool needs to be done all the time. Shock the whole world. Also shock the light in the sky. The immortal is my teacher. He is indeed the immortal. He easily neutralized the attack of the sky-devouring dog thief. It is so terrifying. It is a bit scary that it is so powerful. Fortunately, we did not have an extreme conflict with the immortal. Let's see whether the sky-devouring old thief will die. The giant dragon rushed, and the sky-devouring ancestor, who was like a god in the light, did not react. He hurriedly controlled the huge wings behind him that covered the sky and blocked the front. There was a loud bang. The sky emitted a dazzling light, which stimulated everyone's pupils. Whether it was the people present, or those who projected through the sky, or those who exported the pictures from the video recorder. At this moment, they all looked away. Their eyes were burning and painful. Number 7, come back quickly. Pingfan was very nervous. He didn't know whether the sky-devouring ancestor in the sky would die. The possibility was very low. However, he had to go. The nano god level middle finger showed signs of cracking. The wind element absorbed before was too huge. It was a scale he had never felt before. The whole arm, or even the whole body, became soft and weak. If it weren't for the Iron Man armor and the deep sea walker equipment that resisted most of the pressure for him, he might have already knelt under the strong gale. You are very strong, but the immortal should be stronger than this. Sure enough, the voice of the heaven-devouring ancestor came from the sky again. He is not dead. If it were 3,000 years ago, I would definitely avoid you, but 3,000 years ago, I fought for half of my life and failed to break the void barrier. There is no point in continuing to live. Killing you may be my only chance to prove my truth. The heaven-devouring ancestor changed from calling himself this seat to I. He wanted to kill. After all, there are very few masters of his level. Damn. Pingfan was panicked. The nano god level middle finger could definitely not withstand another attack. Just when the whole world was shouting, "Immortal, my teacher, defend the human race," the sky, which had just regained its brightness, fell into darkness again. It was a black cloud stretching for thousands of miles. In the black cloud, thunder rolled, and wherever it passed, there was heavy rain and strong wind. Looking closely, there seemed to be something churning in the black cloud. It was a dragon. It was different from the dragon that Pingfan presented with virtual projection technology. This was real. Its head was like a camel, its horns were like a deer, its eyes were like a rabbit, its ears were like an ox, its neck was like a snake, its belly was like a clam, its scales were like a carp, its claws were like an eagle, and its paws were like a tiger. There were whiskers beside its mouth, a pearl under its jaw, and scales under its throat. It seemed as if a small wooden block was supporting its head, as if it had just emerged. Dragon, my eyes were blurry. No, we all saw a dragon. Is this a virtual illusion? The Chinese have a unique feeling for dragons. Similarly, the people in this world are the same. Otherwise, when Pingfan first created the dragon and the phoenix, he would not have shocked these human leaders so much. Dragon. There are really dragons in the world. The appearance of this dragon made the old ancestor of swallowing the sky stop his tricks. Guan Qianhei, the last and only dragon in the world. The voice of the old ancestor Tunshan lost some confidence and became a little weak. Dragon, after all, is the leader of scale insects. I heard that the predecessor of my tribe, the dragon, has arrived, so I came to welcome him. A voice like thunder came from the black cloud. It exploded in everyone's ears. The dragon? Leapingfan rang at this time. It should be the dragon and phoenix he made with virtual illusions. Fuck, a powerful backer is here. Ha 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 ha, the scene is a 180-degree reversal. Kill that pretentious Tunshin. Yes, cut him, cut his mother. Upstairs, do you want to cut him, or cut his mother? Can you make it clear? Wait a minute, take a look at the ancestor you mentioned, is it? Leapingfan was overjoyed. If he could scare this dragon, he would be safe. Maybe he could take a few group photos later. As he said that, Leapingfan walked to the virtual reality experience device and operated it. The dragon and the phoenix intertwined behind him again. As the two beasts appeared, the black cloud trembled noticeably, and the Dragon King Guanxianhei emerged, his eyes filled with fear and admiration. Welcome to my dragon. Ahem. The dragon and I have a very good relationship. You don't have to be so polite. I can let you get to know each other. Leapingfan started his pretentious journey again. There was no hurry to leave. The food and scenery of this world have not been seen yet. Roar. A loud noise came from the black cloud. The dragon roared through the sky. The sky and the earth changed color. Thunder fell from the sky. The wind and rain continued. Ahem. Leapingfan was startled by this move. No need to make such a big fuss. We can just keep a low profile, or I will go to the dragon palace with you. Invite the dragon to come along. This time, the Dragon King Guanxianhei did not answer him, but rushed towards him. The black clouds pressed down on the sky. The momentum was fierce. Are you sure? Suppressed my ancestor, and made him surrender as a favor. I don't care who you are, I will fight you to the death today. Oldly, do you have a lot of question marks? Chapter 88. The old man is very bad. Fuck. 30 years on the east side of the river, 30 years on the west side of the river. Don't despise the young and poor. Ocean House. Leapingfan fell out of the space crack. Very embarrassed. Another rollover. Of course, it can't be said to be a complete rollover. The silly dragon named Guanxianhei must have been confused by Leapingfan's virtual reality experience device. He regarded the virtual dragon as real, so he would do anything to gain favor. What is called old people are smart. This is it. The silly dragon may be older than the ancestor of the mountain swallowing beast clan, otherwise he would not be scared like that. The silly dragon has a good idea. If Leapingfan is really an immortal, then the dragon may submit to him. If he is not, then the dragon may be temporarily trapped by some secret method. No matter which one it is, he had the intention to stand up for the dragon from the beginning. Even if it is an immortal, the dragon will say a few good words for him, and maybe he can get the favor of the immortal. After all, he is an immortal. Even if he is a dragon, he is also a dragon from the lower world. In the eyes of the immortal, what is the difference between a human and a bug? Therefore, he has to take an unconventional approach. If he were not an immortal, he might be able to save the ancestor dragon by killing him. At that time, with the help of the ancestor dragon, he can still break the void in the future. What a pity. Leapingfan ran fast. When the silly dragon rushed over, he asked the system to open the space crack and return to the real world. Fuck. So unlucky, not to mention the live broadcast overturned. This kind of thing is normal, but the nano god level middle finger was destroyed by nearly half. Although the steel armor and deep sea walking equipment were not a big deal, he also brought back the virtual reality experience device. But, Pioneer number 7. It can be said that the strongest thing in this world was thrown into another world. As long as this thing is there, Leapingfan can almost say that he will not encounter an opponent on Earth. Although it is not sure whether it can withstand a nuclear bomb attack. No matter what happens to it, it should not be bombed by a nuclear bomb. Fortunately, after losing the owner's operating consciousness, Pioneer number 7 will automatically activate the defense system. Although he did not know whether the silly dragon and the old ancestor of swallowing the sky could destroy Pioneer number 7, as long as they dared to fight, Pioneer number 7 would definitely accompany them. Moreover, except for the two old monsters, it should be difficult to deal with others. I miss the first day of number 7. Number 7 was not brought back. It was something that everyone in the live broadcast room saw. Of course, some people secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The current Wanji reviewers are already very scary. all kinds of strange props in their hands, emerge in an endless stream, beyond control. In addition, they saw with their own eyes the process of the reviewers evaluating Pioneer number 7. Therefore, they understand what Pioneer number 7 represents. Once it comes to the world they live in, it will definitely become a hidden weapon. At that time, regardless of whether Pingfan has dangerous tendencies or not, they must find a way to control it. Fortunately, number 7 did not follow him back to the real world. This move can be postponed for a while. I miss the first day of the Pioneer number 7. The host ruthlessly abandoned number 7, and it was still a different world. It's too scary. The old monsters jumped out one by one. Who knows if there are other things besides the old ancestor of swallowing the sky and the Dragon King. Comparatively speaking, our world is more peaceful. At least there are no people who can destroy the world at any time. Perhaps, we know too little about our world. Yes, the unknown is terrible. There are too few places in this world that have not been explored by humans. You don't know who else exists. That's right. Think about it. The host's prop called the Space Blade was a common item in that era. Let me ask, in our era, isn't it a very terrible weapon? I recommend that the host hand it over to the country. This kind of thing is too terrible and should not be in private hands. Upstairs, I support you. This message was sent by the fairy girl who picked the stars. Tomorrow, I will go and get the space anti-gravity tester back. The previous agreement is void. Pingfan said ruthlessly. Big brother, I'm just joking. I'm supporting the above person. I'm old and I type slowly. I hope you understand. You sent this barrage very quickly. 3 minutes later, hundreds or even thousands of barrages were sent. The star-picking fairy edited another one. This is a new software we developed recently. It can import voice barrages and then convert them into mosquitoes. However, the efficiency is very low and it is easy to have typos. If you are interested, I can send it to you. If you don't believe it, you can edit this one. There are many typos from time to time. Moreover, the sending time is very slow from time to time. The old man is very bad. He has a lot of bad intentions. If you believe me, I will live broadcast eating shit upside down. Oh, I remember the 3 above. They live in Sichuan Prefecture, Beijing and Jizhou respectively. Very good. I will visit them when I have a chance. Pingfan rolled his eyes. Forget it. Anyway, the loss of this live broadcast was heavy, and my Vanguard number 7 didn't come back. I'll go ask the host if I can send you a replacement. By the way, big brother, when you were hardwired and absorbed and transformed the endless strong wind before, did it have any effect on the god level middle finger? The little fairy who picked the stars knew how to ask questions. The question was also very sharp. Faced with this question, Pingfan did not answer. Instead, he bent down and inserted his finger into the ground. He had tested that the earth element was also within the range of absorption and transformation of the god level middle finger. Boom. In the distance, several sharp pillars made of stone and soil suddenly protruded from the ground, forming a ground spike. How? This is the most powerful answer. No explanation is needed. Mighty and domineering. Loopy, looking forward to the host's next live broadcast. By the way, will the host have a chance to go to the parallel world next time? If you almost go to the Marvel world, can you help me ask Black Widow for a few autographed photos? I can buy them at a high price. Yes, we all want to know this question. Don't worry, as long as everyone continues to support, the reviewer will continue to bring you more exciting live broadcasts. Moreover, maybe in the future, when we go to other planes to live broadcast, we can find a few lucky viewers to participate. This sentence is also written for all readers. As long as everyone continues to support, Zoo and Dia will work hard to write every chapter. After that, Pingfan turned off the live broadcast. Suddenly, he seemed to be exhausted. The original god level middle finger was full of cracks. After the previous operation, the injury of the god level middle finger was aggravated a bit, as if it would break at any time. Fuck. There is no way. If he doesn't prove that the god level middle finger is still safe, then his danger may increase greatly. System, get out of here quickly. Let me see how the rating is this time. Also, what prop small can be opened this time? I want to buy like crazy. There is no sense of security. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, All 1 Small. SS Plus. Pingfan didn't expect that the system would give him a double S rating. His growth value soared to the point where he was just 1 point away from upgrading. His points were as high as 1000 points. But soon, the system deducted a portion of it because he was still carrying a loan. It was such a pitfall. It was good that he would no longer owe money in the future and he would get a share of the income from the live broadcast evaluation. My conscience and wallet hurt when I oppressed those big guys who want to give gifts every day. I was able to achieve a double S rating because the live broadcast in the Zoanfa world had a very good impact. Pingfan felt tears streaming down his face when he mentioned the experience in the Zoanfa world. Wait, how did you calculate this? The live broadcast in the Zoanfa world is presented by the projection technology that covers the sky. In other words, everyone living in the Zoanfa world can see this live broadcast when they look up. According to the previous mysterious evaluation standards, it should not have any effect. This live broadcast considers not only the single issue of traffic, but also a wide range, such as the reactions of those who watch the live broadcast after the live broadcast. If that's the case, the live broadcast effect should be very shocking. No, I'm not using the word very strictly, it should be quite shocking. Many human ancestors from the Zoanfa world were forced out, and an unprecedented ancestral quarrel was staged. It is estimated that the people in the entire Zoanfa world are in a state of confusion. The ancestors who have always been arrogant and unapproachable have such a coward, oh no, from the heart. If those ancestors are shocked, then what happened later can be described as subversion. The mountain swallowing beast. Although Pingfan doesn't know much about it, judging from the reaction of the unlucky native brother before, it should be a very scary creature. The mountain swallowing beast was first killed by Pingfan with one finger. It was then beaten into a meatball by No 7's punch. After that, it attracted the ancestors of the mountain swallowing beast world. The appearance of the swallowing ancestor once again triggered a frenzy, and the monster that had been extinct for 3000 years appeared. And Pingfan also resisted a move. After that, the dragon. This kind of mythical beast that almost no one has seen even in the Zoanfa world, appeared. Scene by scene, incident by incident, it's hard not to be remembered. I'm afraid that live broadcast can be recorded in the history of the world of Zoanfa. Okay, what are my rights? When I get an A-level rating, I can temporarily open a specific prop mall and predict the specific information of the props for the next live broadcast evaluation. What is it this time? Double S rating. The rights that can be opened are 10% off the specific prop mall and 1 point to quickly purchase random prop mall. And the range of props for the next live broadcast evaluation. Wait, let's talk about the meaning of 10% off and 1 point first. The former means that the props inside are calculated at 10% off the original price, and the latter is 1 point for the whole game, right? That's right. The difference. I want to ask about the difference. The props provided by the former are basically of higher quality, while the latter needs to be completely random, which may refresh high quality products, or may not be as good as the 100-fold wrist strength ball. Moreover, I would like to remind the reviewer that the 100x arm strength ball is not that bad. I understand. It means that the prop mall in front provides some high quality props, but they are sold at 10% of their original price. In other words, it is very likely that you will encounter something that costs tens of thousands of points, and then after the discount, you still cannot afford it. As for the latter, the props are completely random, and high grade and low grade ratings depend entirely on luck. But all are sold for only 1 point. Can I predict what props are in a specific mall in advance? Not in compliance with the regulations. I choose the latter. Is the reviewer poor? He is not poor. Even if he is poor, he will not admit that he is poor. He just knows how to make choices. What if the former are awesome heaven-defying treasures that cannot be bought even with a loan? This opportunity will be wasted. Instead, it is better to see what is in the latter. Open it. The system quickly opened the entire 1-point prop mall and presented it in Pingfan's mind. Soon, his face became full of black lines as the mall opened. Can you tell me why the 100x arm strength ball is here? To show off its presence again. There are 4 items in the 1-point prop mall. The first one is the 100x arm strength ball. I lost. The host is lucky. The second item usually costs 8 digits of points. What do you think I need a thing called a planetary purifier for? Can I buy it back for you to recycle? Or exchange it? All the props in the 1-point prop mall do not include any after sales service. Speaking of after sales service, can my god level middle finger be repaired? Yes, the host only needs to give up the opportunity of this special mall and pay an extra point. What's the difference between that and buying me a new one? No difference. This damn system. Is it really good to play with the host like this every day? Forget it. I won't take the planetary purifier. Purifying all life on a planet within an hour. What the hell is wrong with me? If it's all purified, who can I review it for? The host misunderstood. It's about purifying all life on the planet, and you are one of them. Damn. I don't give a damn about you. Your system will lose me. The host father, sooner or later. The third item is called the God Machine Mask, which is not bad. The God Machine Mask. It is also a product from a parallel world. After wearing it, it can change the user's appearance, even including gender. With this thing, Pingfan's identity can be better hidden. But soon, the disadvantages of this thing also emerged. In this world, the encryption technology of the recorder is already very safe. In other parallel worlds, even if I encounter a more high-tech civilization that can decipher the recorder, what's the use? In other worlds, I don't need to worry about my identity being exposed. Besides, I don't plan to use this thing to do anything illegal. After thinking about it, Pingfan still chose to look at the fourth item, which is also the last one. Mountain Devourer Egg. You want to play with an egg? Ugh, you want to sell eggs? The mountain devouring beast is very strong. Pingfan has a deep understanding of this. If it can appear in this world, it will undoubtedly be his new trump card. But, why is it an egg? Is it fried and eaten? System, can I buy both? It's against the rules. System, can I call you daddy? This system is infertile, so there will be no son like you. Wait, if there is no son, there will be no son. Why can't there be someone like me? Pingfan is very resentful. He is also a bad mouth. Why tease the system? In that case, I choose. Chapter 90 The Tough Guy Cries. Finally, Pingfan chose the Mountain Devourer Egg. Maybe it can be enlightened if you fry it. Then stimulate your potential, gain the power of blood, and counterattack from then on, becoming a big boss who can make the world turn the tables. Let the whole world kneel at your feet and call you daddy. After completing the transaction, 1 point was deducted, and when the Mountain Devourer Egg was transmitted, an additional manual was attached. The font was Chinese characters, which Pingfan could understand. Mountain Devourer Single Hatching Guide. Hammer. This thing also has a hatching guide. Can I hatch it? For details, please look through the manual. This system will not comment. Next, the host can choose the props for the next evaluation live broadcast. Pingfan could only put the Mountain Devourer Egg aside and began to study the props for the next live evaluation. I can choose, which means that I will no longer just be given a few choices. This time, the system did not answer him. Instead, it provided him with a list of props. He can choose 10 items here, and then have a chance to choose from the big wheel, and then draw one. Although there is a 1 in 10 chance of doing this, it can ensure that every item is what Pingfan likes. Unfortunately, there is no detailed introduction to these items. Mark 50. Pingfan's eyes lit up. He found a set of items he liked very much from the list. The 50th set of armor created by Iron Man. It appeared in Infinity War. Although this set of armor is not the strongest in terms of ability, it is the most impressive to Pingfan. It can store nanoparticles in the storage device on the chest, and the armor can be transformed into a long shield, round shield, small hand cannon, large pulse electromagnetic hand cannon, tail, long sword, foot hammer, small hand hammer, large hand hammer and other forms according to needs. It is even equipped with missiles, palm pulse arc impact cannons and artillery shells. This one is a must. Although Mark 5 has been with Pingfan for a long time, its role has been reduced a lot as the dangers encountered become greater and greater. Not to mention anything else. As for the attacks by fighter planes and tanks and armored vehicles that they had encountered before, it would be difficult to deal with them if Mark 5 was there. Moreover, this armor is equipped with nanotechnology, which makes it more convenient to carry around without having to carry a suitcase all the time. 10,000 scale armor? Pingfan quickly noticed another item. Is it also something from a parallel world? Is it Devil Boy Avant? I see. The magic weapon that the third prince made by condensing the hardest scales on all dragons has very strong defensive capabilities. Selected. Imitation Superman serum. Superman in the DC universe. Pingfan knew that Superman's ability was not obtained by injecting drugs like Captain America, but was innate. This thing should have been developed by humans in the later period. He had never heard of it, but it can also be chosen. Superman is so strong, and although the serum is developed by humans, it may not be weak. Of course, Pingfan will not inject himself casually. He can choose to inject the merman. It is loyal to him. It has become stronger. Doesn't it mean that he is also stronger? The one for heaven slaying blade, the holy weapon of the one for Holy Land in the Zuanfa world, known as the divine weapon of the time, was smashed by number 7. How can this rubbish be worth reviewing? Although the knife has been defined as rubbish in Pingfan's mind, but it is still a sharp weapon for showing off, especially the ability to trigger the thunder. So cool. In the end, Pingfan also selected it. Dark matter collector? This thing comes from the future world, a world of first level civilization. Can it collect dark matter? The space blade can only work if dark matter is needed. This happened to be the thing that Pingfan was most worried about at the moment. After all, the dark matter energy originally stored in the space blade is limited, and it will be reduced every time it is used. Good stuff. You have successfully attracted my attention. The next things were not so interesting. After scanning around, he did not find any particularly good props. Especially the number 7 that he had been thinking about did not appear among them. That's it. For the rest of the things, Pingfan relied on his first impression. Like the anti-gravity engine car and the spacewalking suit. As long as the name is cool, it's fine. Do you want to choose now? After hearing the system's question, Pingfan sighed and shook his head. Forget it. I'll endure the loneliness for a while. This kind of gimmicky thing should be saved for the live broadcast. After exiting the conversation with the system, Pingfan turned around and picked up the mountain swallowing beast egg he had placed aside. Is this thing expired? Yes. Fried or boiled? Otherwise, during the live broadcast, collect everyone's cooking ideas for eggs. The eggs of the mountain swallowing beast are not as huge as imagined. About the size of a basketball. Of course, compared to eggs, it is much larger. But the problem is, the mountain swallowing beast is very big. It's confirmed, the mountain swallowing beast is a bird. When Pingfan saw the weird appearance of the mountain swallowing beast, he was still a little curious. Is it a bird or a bear? After some ideological struggle, Pingfan chose not to eat it first. After all, I don't know if this thing has parasites or something. This manual is really detailed. The mountain swallowing beast is a demon beast. It is extremely difficult to be tamed, because it will identify its creator as soon as it is born. And the mountain swallowing beast is too powerful, and few people dare to steal its eggs. Do you recognize the mother as the one you see after the shell breaks? I'm a reviewer. I don't want to be a shit shoveler. He has a mermaid now, and he is already very worried. There is a way. Let the mermaid hatch this mountain swallowing beast egg. A mermaid is a mountain swallowing beast's nurse. Very reasonable. Very perfect. After all, they are all weird. Mermaid, human and fish. Mountain swallowing beast, although no one knows what it is. It looks like a bird and a bear. Just when Pingfan was about to take the space blade to find the mermaid, the eggshell on the lawn suddenly shook. However, he didn't notice it. Then, the eggshell loosened, and countless cracks spread from one point, stretching at a very fast speed. Click. The sound was very light, but it really fell into Pingfan's ears. When he turned his head, the four eyes met. After confirming the eye contact, he met the right person. Hatched. Pingfan cried. It wasn't because he had a low mental quality. It wasn't because he felt tired, being a shit shoveler. Because these reasons were not enough to make him cry. A tough guy shed tears. How difficult is it? You are so ugly. A wet featherless mountain-eating beast with a bear's head. You are so ugly, can you go back? Chapter 91 Live Broadcast. Start. Parallel worlds really exist. What is the identity of the mysterious Chinese reviewer? He actually confirmed the existence of parallel worlds. After evidence, the live broadcast screen is a special effects synthesis, and the parallel world presented does not exist. Multiple countries jointly stated that the video content is false and cannot prove the authenticity of the parallel world. If parallel worlds exist, which worlds do you want to go to the most? Mr. Conrad, a well-known former hacker, uploaded a decrypted video on his personal platform to prove that the reviewer's live broadcast screen is real and valid. A live broadcast about parallel worlds quickly caused an uproar on the internet. Multiple countries jointly confirmed that the video content was false. The reviewer was a skilled special effects artist, and there might be a huge organization lurking behind him. Then these countries issued some statements to explain the reviewer wearing a Peking opera mask in a short period of time when the space blade was being attacked. These statements are also normal. The whole world cannot fall into panic. If everyone really admits that the 1G reviewer is real and everything in his hands is real, the whole world may fall into a panic crisis. There is nothing we can do about it. However, some hacker bosses or technical geeks have released videos one after another to prove that the reviewer's video content has not found any special effects, except for the encryption of voice and appearance. It has to be said, a live broadcast of a parallel world once again made the words 1G reviewer resound throughout the internet. In the few days after returning from the parallel world, Pingfan was in a very depressed mood. The nano god level middle finger cannot be used indiscriminately for the time being, and each transformation will cause certain damage to it. And the steel armor still needs to provide energy. Number 7 wandered alone in the other world again, which was sad. During this period, Pingfan spent most of his time in the virtual reality experience device except for going back to school for classes. The reputation of the 1G reviewer is getting bigger and bigger. Whether on campus or on the street, you can always hear people mention it. During class, you can also see students from other classes holding their mobile phones and constantly flipping through various videos. A few days passed in a flash. Soon, it was the day of the live broadcast again. This is what Pingfan is looking forward to the most. Because, among the 10 props, there are many that he likes very much. Especially Mark 50. What a cool set of armor. It can be called a powerful weapon. What a pity. Pingfan remembered that someone wanted him to help in the other world. The people from the Institute of Geology and Biology probably wanted some minerals or other things from the parallel world for research. Just pick up a few stones and bring them back, and they will be priceless treasures. You can sell them for as much as you want. The most important thing is that those stones are all over the street, and they are inexhaustible. 30 years of heading. When I go to the zoo for world one day, silly dragon and dead bird, wait for me, I have to stew them in a pot. I just don't know if I can stew them in one pot. Hate. I just don't know when I will go to that world next time. But at the same time, in addition to those wonderful props, Pingfan also has a little expectation for this live broadcast. That is a growth value. After this live broadcast, he can upgrade. After the level is upgraded, I don't know what new benefits the system will give. It's not easy. It took so long to get a chance to upgrade. 9 o'clock in the morning. The live broadcast started on time. Pingfan was at Ocean Loyan Peak. To be honest, he was attracted by the scenery here. Moreover, now that he has the space blade in his hand, it is no longer a problem for him to broadcast live anywhere. After experiments, Pingfan found that the dark matter reserves in the space blade will be consumed differently depending on the distance across the space. Roughly estimated, if Pingfan only moves in a small range, such as within 1,000 kilometers, it should be able to be used hundreds of times. So, for the time being, he is not too worried. After all, who has nothing to do and plays across the entire Earth every day? Friendly reminder to the reviewer, this live broadcast has opened 2 new live broadcast platforms. They are Dalio Live and Yaya Live. The task requires that the live broadcast traffic of the 2 new platforms reach the average value of this live broadcast. At the same time, please interact with at least 3 water friends in the live broadcast room. After completing this task, the reviewer can randomly draw one of the 10 props as a reward. Oh my god. You are too much of a jerk. I'm about to start the live broadcast, and you are telling me now. Besides, the traffic in my other live broadcast rooms is so large now. It will be a shame for these 2 new live broadcast platforms to reach the average. Evaluators can choose to give up the task without affecting the comprehensive rating of this live broadcast. It is impossible to give up. People should still have dreams, just in case they see a ghost. Moreover, he does not think that he is lucky enough to draw Mark 50 in one go. Forget it, let's deal with it. Now it is time for the live broadcast, and Pingfan cannot delay on this issue. After all, the system is so venomous that it can easily make people want to die. Hello everyone, welcome to the live broadcast room of the 1G evaluator on time. I'm the 1G evaluator. This time, we will broadcast live on Earth. In a blink of an eye. Millions of people poured into the live broadcast room. Which world? Which world? Oh, it's still Earth. 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west. The anchor goes back to beat them. Yeah, don't be scared. Ask those big guys to borrow a few missiles and nuclear bombs, and then go over and start bombarding. It's better to bring my 2nd Battalion commander with you. My nickname is the Gunner, specializing in dragon slaying. 2nd Battalion Commander, you damn well better serve my pastor. Anchor, how do we play this time? Everyone, this live broadcast review has officially begun. As for the props for the live broadcast review, the host provided a total of 10. To be more precise, I chose 10 from the host. Fuck, reviewing 10 props at once. When will it end? Looking forward to it. Are you planning to feed us all at once? Ahem, that's not what I mean. 10 props will be randomly selected in the form of a big turntable. But don't worry this time. Props like Bailey arm strength ball that force a sense of presence will never appear. As Pingfan said this, he stretched out his hand and flashed towards the void. A large light blue turntable appeared in the live broadcast room. 10 different props are presented on the big turntable. Of course, the most eye-catching one is the popular Mark 50 armored suit. Wait, in addition to the armored suit, did I also see the heaven-slaying sword? The pretentious weapon that can trigger the thunder? And the one that was broken by a light touch of number 7? It's so cool, but it's useless as a kitchen knife. 10,000 scale armor, such a cool set of equipment. Strongly request to review Mark 50. Pingfan looked at the constantly flashing barrage, smiled indifferently, and reached out to grab the void. From the live broadcast room, it seemed that Pingfan's hand was touching the large light blue turntable. Pull hard. Extract. Start. Chapter 90 to time. No regrets. This live broadcast was very exciting. Because the selection of evaluation props was completely random. In previous evaluation live broadcasts, although there would be several props to choose from, the host had the final say on which prop to choose. This time, even the 1G reviewer couldn't choose which prop he was going to review. Countless people looked at the big blue turntable nervously, hoping to choose something they liked. Obviously, the Mark 50 armored suit is the most popular one here. But it's a pity. The probability of 1 in 10 is too low, and Pingfan doesn't think he has a fair face, so he still couldn't choose the ones he liked in this random draw. Fuck, even that big kitchen knife that's used to show off would be fine. Pingfan sighed. But fortunately, the other props were also of great interest to him. Alas, I'm disappointed. It's not my Mark 50. What is this thing? It looks like a full covering helmet. Cool what? I have presbyopia and can't see the words clearly. The idea of the upstairs fairy girl is star picking. Can't you see the subtitles clearly? The young sister has presbyopia. Brother specializes in treating presbyopia. Sister, please describe the symptoms, such as the measurements the 2 friends upstairs, eat whatever you want and go wherever you want to play recently. I'm going crazy and testing your courage on the edge of death. I admire you. Dare to ask the fairy boss for the measurements? Go ask the domineering and powerful Xiaozao. Does he dare to be presumptuous in front of the fairy boss? The powerful and domineering Xiaozao, Pingfan opened his hands, and a crack in the sky tore open. A square cardboard box that looks about the same size as a laptop fell from the sky and landed right in his hands. The evaluation program officially began. Although I'm a little disappointed that I didn't choose Mark 50 for the evaluation. Some people are disappointed and some people are happy. Mark 50, although not the most powerful in the Iron Man armor series, is definitely not comparable to Mark 5. If Pingfan gets this armor, the risk factor will be greatly increased. Next, let me introduce today's evaluation props. It has a very nice name and also has a very sad story. This prop is called Time, No Regrets. As he said, Pingfan stretched out his hand to open the paper box. Then he asked the video camera to take a close-up. Because there was no way to know the specific introduction of the props before the first 10 hospitality draws, Pingfan didn't know what the effect of this prop was at first. However, it has the word time. It sounds very cool. After all, the previous Space Blade is a prop in the Space series, which can dominate the world. This prop is indeed a full covering helmet, with a light silver color throughout, and a layer of translucent glass material like sapphire. In addition to the helmet, there is also a projection device about the size of a mobile phone. Before the formal evaluation, let me introduce this prop. It was officially launched in 2105. The inventor was a female inventor at the time. It took her 10 years to create this prop. Time leaves no regrets. The inventor of this prop originally had a happy family. Her husband is her childhood sweetheart. The two have been studying together since kindergarten until they graduated from college. They both have good jobs. Although their lives are not rich, they have no worries about food and clothing. They have a house, not a villa, but a very ordinary small 3-bedroom apartment. Their married life is even happier until they have the fruit of their love, a daughter. Their daughter is very lively and cute. During the period of preparing for pregnancy and becoming a new mother, the woman gave up her original job at the research institute and ran a small restaurant with her husband. They are very lucky. The small restaurant has a good reputation and business is also very hot. When their daughter was 5 years old, the woman still couldn't let go of her scientific research work, and once again by chance, she returned to the research institute to continue working. Then, one day, misfortune struck. It was their daughter's birthday, but the woman had to work overtime until after 9 in the evening. Her husband and daughter went to the research institute to pick her up, and a bloody car accident happened on the way. The daughter died, and the husband lost both legs. This was undoubtedly a devastating blow to her life. Later, she quit her job at the research institute and planned to spend the rest of her life taking care of her husband who had lost his fertility. However, her heart was still concerned about her research career, and her husband had always seen this. After a negotiation, her husband was willing to continue to support her in her research career. 10 years. She seemed to have aged by dozens of years. She was only in her early 30s, but her hair was white, and her face was full of wrinkles left by staying up late or being exposed to radiation. She exuded a melancholy temperament. But fortunately, her research project was very successful. This one. Time, no regrets. The following is a formal introduction to the function of this prop. Pingfan breathed a sigh of relief. This time the system was very powerful. When he received the prop, a detailed introduction report was transmitted to his mind. The story he told was the beginning. The hood needs to be worn on the user's head, and then this device with projection function can read the memory, extract a memory, and reproduce the scene. It's just that it is reproduced in the mind, and this projection device is not like a virtual reality experience device, which can achieve a holographic and realistic projection. It can only be played as a picture. Wait, if that's the case, I can import this projection data into the virtual reality experience device to achieve a holographic and nearly realistic 3-dimensional projection. Ahem, I'm off topic. Let's continue. Since this device reads a person's memory directly through brain waves, the upper limit of each person's use is only once. If used too much, it is easy to cause damage to the hippocampus and apricot kernel in the human brain, resulting in memory disorders and even serious nervous breakdown. After introducing this prop, let's continue to tell the previous half of the story. Pingfan paused, let out a long breath and continued. I think everyone should understand the significance of the creation of this prop here. For the inventor, the accident suffered by her daughter and husband was the greatest trauma and regret in her life. Especially her daughter, who will never see her again. Moreover, this device has another function. The memory it reads and presents is not just a projected image. You can manipulate the memory. In other words, the user can change a certain memory. Now, do you understand? Chapter 93, Interacting with Fans Again. After the woman invented this device, she couldn't wait to share it with her husband. She had suffered too much torture and shock. She wanted to change that memory and see her daughter again. Then, at home, accompanied by her husband, she became the first person to use this prop. In her memory, she saw her daughter again. On her daughter's birthday, she was not busy with work, so her husband and daughter did not pick her up, and the tragedy naturally did not happen. In her memory, she spent a happy and unforgettable birthday with her daughter. This memory can perfectly fill and replace her original sad wound. As long as no one mentions it again, she will no longer live in torture and grief because of guilt. The first memory reading has been used up. In order to protect the brain, her husband is not allowed to use it a second time. So, the second user of this instrument is her husband. It's just that no one knows. The woman's husband did not choose to see his daughter. It's not that he didn't miss her. He felt guilty. He felt guilty for not driving more carefully and for not being the one who died in the car. Even if he swapped with his daughter and made her lose her legs, she would be very sad in the future, but at least she would be alive. But the man didn't choose that. He read the memory before he had his daughter. It was the day he proposed to the woman, because he had never seen his wife smile since his daughter died. He had never seen her smile in 10 years. The man once said, I love my daughter very much, but before that, there was only you in my life. The man used his only chance to use this instrument to see the woman who used to be happy, angry, laughing and crazy. Pingfan told this story. The comments in the live broadcast room, which were always not serious, turned into warm expressions for the first time. All love, all flowers. What's the story behind? Although I don't know how to say it, my feelings are very complicated. In the end, did they choose to replace the memory? Time, no regrets. This sentence itself is a paradox. Things have happened. Even if you replace your memory, you are just deceiving yourself. They both understand this truth, so neither of them chose to replace their memories. They want to remember that past and walk out of it together. Then, they donated this prop to the World Peace Organization and never created a second one for the rest of their lives. This device is indeed dangerous. It can cover and read people's memories. If used at the military level, it will indeed cause some kind of war. Donating it to the World Peace Organization is too scary. Anchor, why don't you consider handing it over to the country? What the above person said is right. Little star picking fairy, get ready to clean up my space anti-gravity experience field. I'll go get it after the live broadcast. Pingfan's face was full of black lines. I didn't bother with you last time you were asking for death, but you still want to incite public opinion this time. Haha. It's okay to hand over the bullhead to the country, but now you want everything? Comrade reviewer, I type slowly, and I want to reply to the message at the top. It's really a coincidence. Pingfan ignored the star picking fairy and continued. Next, let's review this prop. This time, I can completely use the virtual reality experience device to reproduce your memories in a 3-dimensional projection way so that you can feel the reality. However, I personally do not recommend whether to overwrite the memory. Each person can only participate once, and I will draw a few lucky viewers. By the way, Pingfan suddenly smiled. 2 new platforms are opened for this live broadcast. They are Daliro Live and Ya Live. Since they are new platforms, I will draw lucky viewers from those 2 platforms. Let's draw one from each for the first time and decide whether to continue drawing based on the time. Wow, why? Our 8 station platform is obviously your base camp. Why don't you benefit us, the Iron fans, this time? That's right, at least draw a lucky viewer from each platform. How can you reduce the range of options to such a small number? Protest, we also want a place from 8 stations. Stupid people are still protesting, while smart people have already downloaded the app and registered an account. That's right, the newly opened platform is not popular enough, and there are definitely not many people in the live broadcast room, so the chance of winning is greater. That's right. Pingfan did not choose verbal diversion this time. Although he said something last time and brought some traffic to other live broadcast rooms, it didn't have much effect. This time, he didn't need to ask these people to divert traffic. As long as lucky viewers are drawn on Daily Live and Yeah Live, they will go and register an account and keep watching and waiting for the draw. Give everyone 10 minutes to prepare, and the draw will start in 10 minutes. The task requires interacting with at least 3 lucky viewers, but he only chose 2 first, so that there will be another wave of draws and barrages later, soon. Because the draws are to be drawn on 2 major platforms, the traffic on these 2 platforms has soared to nearly 10 million respectively. Enough. The average traffic of this live broadcast will definitely not reach 10 million. As for the draw process, he chose the barrage draw. Just follow the live broadcast and send a specific barrage. Very good. The lottery is completed. Let me announce it. The winner of the Dailyo platform is called No White Hair Allowed to See in the World. The winner of the Yeah platform is called Slag Brick. Later, the staff of the platform will send you a private message after the meeting. Remember to give more accurate address. I will pick you up. After that, Pingfan returned to the ocean house. The next interaction should continue at the ocean house, the top of Huashan Mountain, the top of Loyan Peak. It's a bit steep. Don't have any accidents. If you fall off a 1,000-foot cliff, you're done. Okay, now the staff of the 2 major platforms have sent me the specific information. I'll see later. I'll go to pick up the lucky audience. As he said, Pingfan put on the Mark V armor first, then picked up the space blade, and was about to enter the background to read the information. Because after wearing the steel armor, Jarvis will automatically connect to his mobile phone. Sir, your mobile phone has received 7 text messages. Now there is a call coming in. Do you read the text message content first or answer the call? 7. Or send a text message? Before Pingfan could speak, the phone was hung up. Let's read the text message first. Sir, the phone is ringing again. Maybe it's urgent. Why don't you answer it first? Okay. Pingfan asked Jarvis to answer the call, and he temporarily cut off the sound recording function of the video recorder. Pingfan, I'm so lucky. Chapter 94. The happiness of the anchor is unimaginable. In fact, Pingfan would never guess who was the person who was not allowed to see Beitao in the world. If he had looked at the detailed location information of the winners sent by the 2 major platforms earlier, he would have understood. Unfortunately, everything was too late. Song Wanling. It turned out that it was her who sent the text messages, just to share the excitement in his heart. Unfortunately, there was no way. He couldn't openly deprive Song Wanling of this opportunity. After all, his current personality was completely unfamiliar with Song Wanling. When Pingfan cut through the space and arrived at Song Wanling's home, Song Wanling was holding her mobile phone with a face full of questions. Hey, why is there no signal suddenly? Where did this poor Pingfan go to? There is no signal. Before Song Wanling could react, Pingfan, oh no, the male god in her mind, the Wanji reviewer, had already arrived at her house and stood behind her. Stupid, I want to share my joy with you, but there is no way. I'll call you again. If you can't get through, I'll raise the rent. Pingfan in the armor was full of black lines. Ahem. He coughed lightly. Of course, the sound was processed by Jarvis, and it sounded no different from the electronic sound of Jarvis. Wow. The slight cough startled Song Wanling, and she jumped up from the sofa, her face pale. Ahem. Sorry, I'm here. The moment she saw Iron Man, Song Wanling's big watery eyes seemed to be twinkling with stars. She really liked Iron Man. She dreamed of meeting Iron Man. Now, he was standing in front of her. To be honest, Pingfan had never seen Song Wanling, a carefree and silly girl who always wore plain clothes, so nervous. He swore. He didn't flirt with her, didn't tease her, and didn't even say a word. Song Wanling's face turned red involuntarily, and then she lowered her head, not daring to look him in the face. Can I call someone to share the joy? Call? Yes, a very predestined person. He was also lucky enough to become a live audience last time. Li Pingfan understood that she was going to call him. How could he allow it? Isn't it enough that I'm here? The voice was very soft. Song Wanling's face was very hot. Are you leaving? Can I put on some makeup? It's a live broadcast. I have to put on makeup for the live broadcast. Actually, it doesn't matter whether you put on makeup or not. Just change your suspender skirt. Song Wanling was wearing a suspender skirt at home. Although it didn't reveal anything, it was a bit indecent. After all, this was a live broadcast watched by nearly 30 million people at the same time. After changing her clothes and coming out, Song Wanling hurried to the dressing table to put on makeup. This girl is so beautiful. She is not allowed to have white hair in the world. I'm willing to have white hair for her. Your white hair is not for others. It is clearly premature white hair. I know an old Chinese doctor who can regulate kidney deficiency. Can I introduce him to you? Pa, I don't have premature white hair, but I can get to know the old Chinese doctor. After all, Chinese medicine is the quintessence of the country. I just want to make a friend. Well, it smells so good. The little sister is so beautiful. I'm the agent of Zingayu Entertainment. Can I contact you? Get out of here. Don't let our cute and innocent little sister enter your entertainment circle. It's such a dirty place. Wait, so are we, millions of people, going to wait for the beauty to change her clothes and put on makeup? What? You can leave if you don't want to wait. That's not the case. I just want to ask the reviewer, can you move a few more steps to the left to block the little sister's beautiful side profile? Actually, I wanted to say that, but I didn't dare. I love you upstairs. Host, I don't think the little sister is more important than you. I just think the feng shui on the left is good. Just move a few steps horizontally. Li Pingfan had a dark line on his face. Song Wanling didn't want to keep Li Pingfan waiting for a long time, and her makeup skills were really not up to standard, so she just applied some sunscreen and ran to Li Pingfan. My male god, let's go. Song Wanling looked up at Li Pingfan. Her eyes were as gentle as autumn water, and her love was overflowing. One of the host's fans. I'm so envious. Host, are you happy? Are you happy? Do you think it's happy to have so many fans? Or do you think it's happy to have such a fangirl? You're wrong. You can't imagine how happy the anchor is. Li Pingfan's words successfully attracted a lot of hatred in the live broadcast room. The screen was full of kitchen knife and mine expressions. Okay, let's go. As he said that, Li Pingfan opened the space channel and stretched out his hand. Just hold my hand. But I'm scared. It's okay. Can I hold you? Yeah? Thank you. Song Wanling ran to Li Pingfan with joy, hooked her hands around his neck, and jumped. Bang, she fell to the ground again. It was different from what was shown in the TV series. Li Pingfan didn't catch her legs, and there was no romantic princess hug. Want to tease my anchor? Sister, you are still young. Anchor, you are also young. Let me do this kind of work next time. If the anchor is with this girl, I will set up a cuckold association, and those who want to cuckold the anchor can follow me. +1. +10,086. The host is also very tired, always being taken advantage of by girls. At this moment, the ocean house is lively again. Li Pingfan stands in the middle. On his left is the girl who is not allowed to see white hair in the world, Song Wanling. On his right is a thin boy with unshaven beard, dull eyes, and messy hair like a pile of weeds. Zha Who of you wants to be the first to experience this model? Time, no regrets. Ladies first. Zha said softly. His voice is very magnetic and full of storytelling. Fuck, the level of the lucky audience this time is so high. Brother Zha successfully interpreted what is a sense of decadence. This magnetic voice, I love it. I don't want to say anything else. I just want to sleep with him. Let me do it. Add me one. Damn, this is unfair. Why did you give me a nickname last time when I was a lucky audience, and now this sloppy person is shouting to sleep with others? Who told you to piss yourself in the anti-gravity test field in space? Brother incontinence. So the guy upstairs is brother incontinence. I've heard of you for a long time. It's so famous. Without paying too much attention to the comments, Li Pingfan looked at Song Wanling. Do you want to be the first to try? Song Wanling nodded. How could she say no in front of her idol? Okay, then I'll be the first. Put on the helmet now, and think about the memory you want to read. Even if some memories fade, don't worry. The helmet will export the memory through your brain waves. All you have to do is search for a memory in this period of your life. The memory cannot last more than one day. Wait. If my private life appears when I'm looking for the memory, will it be broadcast live at the same time? Song Wanling asked nervously. Wow, it suddenly became exciting. I have a picture in my mind. When the little sister is alone at night, she won't. The guy upstairs, tell me what she won't do. If you dare to block the point, I'll kill you. Yes, I moved a small stool and listened to your story. You're not picking your feet, are you? Damn it, I hope your hairline will move back 10 centimeters within 3 days. Don't worry, in order to protect privacy, these memories will be roughly reviewed in your mind. If there are things involving privacy, the helmet will remind you. You can choose to synchronize or block. Are you ready? Also, you have to think carefully. You only have one chance and there is no second chance. Okay. Song Wanling gritted her teeth, not knowing which memory she would choose. Chapter 95. I have a phone call that I can't make even if I'm drunk. Li Pingfan made a bold assumption. Xiao Song should choose to recreate the memory of their first meeting. After all, this girl is his fangirl. Soon, Song Wanling said that she was ready and could export the memory. Li Pingfan nodded and connected the data to the virtual reality experience device, and then the virtual world was constructed. Verdant green mountains, winding springs, endless rice fields in sight, bamboo houses scattered around, yellow cattle and dogs, curling smoke. Damn, isn't it? Li Pingfan really overestimated his charm. Song Wanling did not leave the only opportunity to experience memory replay to Iron Man. This is obviously not the wild mountain where she met Iron Man. Run slower. A dirt road in the field with unknown wildflowers on both sides. An old man with a hunched back, wearing a straw hat, pushing a dilapidated 28-inch bicycle. In front of him, a little girl ran happily, sometimes picking flowers, sometimes teasing the dog. The live broadcast room gradually quieted down and began to appreciate this warm virtual world. However, it was not completely virtual. Grandpa, please walk faster or you will miss dinner if you go home. Okay. The old man raised his head and smiled. Although his face was full of wrinkles, he was very kind. Soon, the grandfather and grandson crossed the field road and returned home. As soon as she entered the house, the little girl showed her joy. There were many people in the family. Several uncles, cousins, and sisters gathered together. For the little girl, could it be another festival? It was another dinner together. Song, come here. A girl of 17 or 18 years old came over and waved at the little girl. Judging from her face, the girl was not Song Wanling. The little girl should be her sister. You promised to make a bracelet for me. Okay, let's do it now. The girl took the little girl's hand and went into the house. The little girl did not notice that the people in the yard, including the sister who was going to make a bracelet for her, looked very unhappy. One was more serious than the other. After the bracelet was made, the cousin coaxed the little girl and followed the crowd. The little girl didn't know what was going on. Wasn't it a party? Of course, she didn't take it to heart. Let's eat. It's your favorite dumplings. The little girl's mother shouted outside the door. Hearing that they were going to eat dumplings, little Song Wanling ran out happily and went to the kitchen with her grandfather. The family of 4 sat around a low-legged square table with steaming dumplings on the table. The middle-aged man had a serious face. He wanted to take the vinegar pot to add some vinegar, but he took the soy sauce pot instead. Ha ha ha, Dad is a fool. What are you laughing at? You can't even stop your mouth when eating. The middle-aged man angrily slammed the chopsticks in his hand heavily on the bowl. His face flushed, not because he was embarrassed, but because he was angry. The edge of the bowl was even knocked open. Little Song Wanling felt wronged. The dumplings she picked up also fell to the ground. If you don't want to eat, don't eat. You can't even pick up a dumpling properly, and you still have the face to laugh. The father scolded again, and the originally happy mood of little Song Wanling became extremely depressed at this moment. The atmosphere at the dinner table became dull. No one spoke anymore. They just kept eating the dumplings in their bowls. Ahem. After a few bites, the grandfather's face turned blue, and he coughed a few times, as if he was choked. The dumplings in his mouth sprayed onto the table, and some fell into Song Wanling's bowl. Eat slowly. The father handed the grandfather a bowl of dumpling soup, and said nothing more. However, after a few bites, the old man opened his mouth, and started to cough again, spraying the table again. No one is fighting with you, can't you eat slowly? Song Wanling, who was already unhappy, put down the bowl, and said something innocent. So far, Song Wanling, who was wearing a helmet, had tears on her face. The old man's hand froze in the air for a moment, put down the bowl, and wiped his mouth. It's a bit salty, I don't want to eat it anymore. I don't mean anything else, I just want you to eat slowly, isn't it uncomfortable to choke? Song Wanling snorted, not thinking that she was wrong at all. She often does this with her grandfather. Song, your grandpa is not feeling well, how can you talk to him like this? Go and apologize. Song Wanling's mother scolded. Humph, it's just gastritis, and we've agreed to do it. I won't go. The parents moved their mouth slightly, wanting to say something, but they didn't say it. So far, the picture stopped. I don't want to overwrite my memory, I just want to apologize to grandpa. Song Wanling's face was soaked with tears, and her voice was choked for a while. Next, you can control your memory yourself. Li Pingfan said softly, it's up to you to decide whether to overwrite it in the end. Song Wanling nodded, and the picture in the virtual world continued to move. The little girl, who was originally arrogant and didn't think she was wrong at all, suddenly put down her bowl and chopsticks and ran out. At the same time, her grandfather was sitting on the kang in his room, staring blankly at the TV full of snow, and he didn't know to change the channel. I'm sorry. Little Song Wanling threw herself into her grandfather's arms, and tears as big as beans fell. At the same time, her narration sounded, I'm sorry, 15 years late. After that, it was a long time before I knew that grandpa's disease was not gastritis, but gastric cancer. At that time, it was already in the deteriorating stage, and he couldn't eat anything at all. He would burp constantly after eating, and occasionally spit it out when stimulated. I didn't know all this until grandpa was completely lying in bed, relying on nutrient solution to maintain his life all day. I didn't say sorry to him. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Song Wanling cried heartbreakingly, her legs slowly bent, and the whole person knelt on the ground. This was not a deliberate disguise. Your grandpa will forgive you. Li Pingfan stepped forward and patted Song Wanling's shoulder and turned off the virtual reality experience device at the same time. Her emotional fluctuations were really too big. I don't want to overwrite this memory. Okay. Li Pingfan reached out and took off the helmet on Song Wanling's head. He was also helpless. The tough guy also has a tender side. It's just that he can't control this kind of thing. Not only him, but also the audience in the live broadcast room have mixed feelings. Little sister, don't cry. Children speak without restraint. I believe you did it unintentionally. Little sister, our grandfather's spirit in heaven will definitely comfort you. To be honest, your words are really hurtful upstairs. Let me ask you, when you were a child, did you never offend your elders? It's just that this little sister was very unlucky. She said something inappropriate at an inappropriate time. Yes, I often quarreled with my grandparents when I was a child. I'm also a girl. I can understand the little sister's feelings. I grew up with my grandfather, but I didn't see him for the last time. Alas Xiaoling, I'm your cousin. Come back once, when you have time. Let's go to grandpa's grave together. Each of them told their own story in the barrage. Li Pingfan walked towards the melancholy little brother. Zha Zuan, it's your turn. Why, you look so sad. Are you trapped in love? It just so happens that there is a barrage in the live broadcast room asking me to ask you, do you have a phone call that you can only make when you are drunk like him? After hearing Li Pingfan's words, Zazazan raised his head. The wind blew through his messy hair, revealing his absent-minded eyes. He laughed at himself and said, I have a phone number that I can't make even if I'm drunk. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96, Painful Bullying. It was a heartwarming and sweet scene. Li Pingfan felt sour. Why was his life so ordinary? He also wanted this kind of sweet, childhood sweetheart love. 10 years of regret. Fortunately there will always be a perfect day. I'll take you there, meet her and apologize. Okay. The boy wiped away his tears and his eyes shone again. Determine the coordinates, cut through the space, and take the slag brick. The next moment, they appeared on Long Street, with a junior high school behind them. The girl was wearing a white dress with floral patterns, and the prosthetic limb under the skirt looked so abrupt. However, in the boy's eyes, it seemed that nothing mattered. He mustered up his courage this time. He took 2 steps at a time, rushed over, and hugged the girl. The girl cried this time too. She cried with a smile. Sure enough, just like what the slag brick said, when the girl smiled, she would show a pair of tiger teeth and a shallow dimple. Her almond eyes curved into crescents. This embrace that she had been waiting for 10 years should not have disappointed her. Li Pingfan did not disturb her anymore, quietly passed through the space tunnel, and turned back. Although this matter has been made public in front of tens of millions of people, I still hope that everyone will not disturb other people's private lives, okay? Don't worry, although I really want to chop him, that kind of scumbag actually deserves such infinite forgiveness from the young lady. However, if I chop him, the young lady will have difficulty walking, so forget it. Yes, I originally wanted to darksks him immediately, but when I saw the young lady's clear eyes through the space channel just now, I regretted it, and let it go. Scold him one last sentence, and I will pretend that I don't know this person in the future. You bastard, I used to like her so much, do you know? You don't like her, but you don't know to protect her. Damn. In fact, I don't think boys are necessarily scumbags. People will have countless choices in their lives, and you will never know whether your choice is right or wrong. I cried. I'm an old aunt who has been single since birth, and has not had a partner for 20 years. I envy her to death. Has the world changed now? Do the post-zeros hate to get married? Only 20, I'm already 31. What about you? Li Pingfan looked at Song Wanling, who was full of longing beside him. The girl was obviously moved by the story of the slag brick. Can we have such a sweet love? Song Wanling mustered up her courage and spoke the words from the bottom of her heart to Iron Man. Li Pingfan did not answer, but directly used the space blade to cut through the space and establish a space channel. Go. If he was not worried that Song Wanling might get lost in the space without the space blade, he would really kick her in. Sweet love is always out of my reach. After sending Song Wanling away, Li Pingfan returned to the ocean house. Next, I will draw 2 lucky viewers, one from the Big Live broadcast and the other from Yeah Live, and everyone continue to brush the barrage. Host, I want to see if you have any regrets, okay? Yes, we want to see the host experience it. After all, the host is the evaluation host. How can you make a perfect evaluation if you don't experience it yourself? No problem. Those who support the anchor, to start memory reconstruction, to make up for the regret, did at 1. The barrage and the live broadcast room of all platforms has become a uniform one. It has never been so harmonious. Li Pingfan laughed with a fake smile. I want to see which big guy is leading the rhythm in the live broadcast room. Do you think it's possible? Read my memory? Dream on. The ruthless Li Pingfan directly set a function to mute all members. Although I don't know if someone deliberately led the rhythm, or it was just a coincidence. However, who made him a permission dog? He can mute if he wants to. The previous lottery has ended. I will pick up the first lucky audience now. Li Pingfan quickly picked up the first winner according to the location coordinates transmitted. The lucky audience is a fat boy of 17 or 18 years old. He is not tall and always smiles shyly, but he has a different personality from children of the same age. His smile is far-fetched, like a fake smile, and his eyes are a little lost, and he dare not look directly at people. Little friend, what kind of memory do you want to experience? After hearing Pingfan's words, the child showed a silly smile, a little shy and a little nervous. Can I give up this opportunity? Huh? Why? No, nothing. The child seemed to be afraid of other people's questions, and he didn't dare to speak. Are you scared? Pingfan took 2 steps forward, and the child quickly stepped back a few steps. Something is wrong. I'm not afraid of you, because I know that Iron Man is a good person. Do you have any stories that are difficult to tell? Pingfan asked. The child lowered his head and became very nervous. If you don't want to share, I can send you back. The child didn't speak. It seems that he is experiencing a very intense ideological struggle in his heart. Is it your family? Will your parents hurt you? While asking, Pingfan also blocked the sound recording function of the video recorder. He was trying his best to protect the child's heart. Don't worry, I can keep you a secret for a while, just like the usual review brother. Keep it secret. People in the live broadcast room won't see you. This time, the little guy raised his head. Will he go to jail? Who is he? Your father? The little guy shook his head. Your mother? He shook his head again. Is it school violence? If so, Uncle Iron Man, how about Brother Iron Man accompany you there? The little guy's eyes were shining, and when he heard that Iron Man was backing him up, he had more courage. Is it really school violence? I'd better not share it. He might go to jail. At this time, Pingfan realized the seriousness of the problem. It should be more than just school violence. Can I just let my brother find out about it himself? I will help you. Pingfan has never been so gentle. The child finally nodded and chose to believe Pingfan. After returning to the ocean house, Pingfan also gave the little guy a virtual treatment. Next, let's take a look at his memory. After Pingfan said this, he let the child put on the helmet. The scene flashed by and appeared in the corner of a junior high school playground. A group of people gathered together in laughter, and in the middle of the crowd was this lucky audience. Sure enough, it was school violence. Slaps, verbal abuse, and even people urinated on him in public. Boys and girls, seniors and juniors, all participated. The barrage in the live broadcast room also became furious with the appearance of this memory. Fatty, you are too dirty. People like you are not worthy of being our classmates. Dead thing, if you dare to walk in front of me again, I will definitely teach you a lesson. I tell you, when you return to class, remember to take the initiative to apply to the teacher. You are not allowed to sit in front of me. You smell like urine all day long. Disgusting. Pingfan looked at the virtual world presented calmly, and the anger in his heart was already burning crazily. Please ask the anchor to teach these little bastards a lesson. Do they want to turn the world upside down one by one? This is too much to bully people. I can't wait to kill those bastards. When will school violence be resolved? Everyone, I'm going to temporarily turn off the sound recording function of the live broadcast room. I have something to ask him. After saying that, Pingfan turned off the function of the live broadcast room and walked to the child. Is your body? Chapter 97 Iron Man Kidnapping. Is there something wrong with your body? The little fat boy in the helmet nodded and then took the initiative to lift up his loose shirt. Pingfan was standing in front of the video camera, so no one could see what happened to the kid. Pingfan actually had a vague guess. The little fat boy lowered his head in inferiority and then gently put down his shirt. Pingfan stepped forward and squatted in front of him. Believe in Brother Iron Man. I will cure your illness. Believe me. It's okay. I'm used to it. An external urine bag was tied around his waist. He had a lesion in his body, which led to a total cystectomy. To do this, he could only perform a urethral diversion and then tie an external urine bag around his waist. I'm afraid it was because of this reason that this kid suffered from cold eyes and targeting at school. What touched Pingfan the most was that he was worried at first that if it was exposed, would those classmates go to jail? Are there really such gentle people in this world? Do you hate them? Hate them very much. Then do you want revenge? I just want to not be disturbed. because they take apart my urine bag every day, and when I go back, my mother has to wash my clothes every day, and she has to worry about the infection of the wound. Pingfan's eyes were red. Pause the live broadcast. He turned around and restored the sound recording function of the recorder. I have to do something, and I will come back to continue the live broadcast later. Pause now. After saying that, Pingfan raised his hand slightly, cut open the space, and established a channel. Soon, Pingfan appeared above a junior high school teaching building. Jarvis, how is the population information database analysis? Have you found the specific classes of those people? Sir, all the identification has been completed, and I will pass the specific information to you now. Very good. Jarvis has the ability to invade the population information database, and the pictures in the virtual world are only encrypted through the recorder. Pingfan, who is in the ocean house, can see the real pictures with his own eyes, so he asked Jarvis to record what everyone looks like in advance. The first one, class 3 of the first grade, right? After saying that, Pingfan suddenly jumped down and appeared at the door of class 3 of the first grade in a blink of an eye. He raised his hand and pushed the door of the classroom open. A young female teacher was giving a lecture inside. Suddenly seeing Iron Man appear, the whole class was shocked, including the female teacher. Wait, are you the Wanji reviewer? I just watched your live broadcast when I was preparing for class during the break. Why are you here? I remember that I didn't win the prize. Obviously, this young female teacher is also one of the fans of Wanji reviewer. Pingfan did not answer the question and searched in the class. Then he walked to the last row of the classroom, the corner, and picked up a guy with side bangs and a ruffian temperament. Follow me. After that, Pingfan didn't care whether he agreed or not, stretched out his hand to lift him up and cut the space channel. Then leave. Just like that, the female teacher still thought that her students were the lucky audiences who were drawn. It was not until nearly 10 people in the whole school were taken away that they realized that something was wrong. Hello, is this the law enforcement team? We want to report a case. We are from King's Hong. Several students from our school have been kidnapped. Yes, King's Hong on Bihuen Road. The kidnapper is Iron Man. What? I'm not kidding. It should be the Wanji reviewer who broadcasts live on 8 stations and all platforms. At the same time, the little fairy who was watching the live broadcast received a message from his subordinates. Chief, something happened. Iron Man kidnapped several students, and according to our tracking equipment, he did appear in Pingfan Middle School on Bihuen Road in Dingnan City. What? Besides, because we have the highest order, any news related to the Wanji reviewer in the society needs to be reported. This order was sent by comrades in the Bihuen Road area of Dingnan City. It is a real case. Immediately appease the school and say that this is an interaction, not a kidnapping, and organize the information of the kidnapped people. I want to know it immediately. This matter must not be made a big deal. At this moment, the top of Huashan Mountain, the top of Loyan Peak. In front of Pingfan sat a group of crying children, both boys and girls. Each of them had bullied the little fat boy. We are just children. What are you going to do? That's right. Besides, we did nothing wrong. He smells like urine. I tell you, you have no right to hurt us. The law will protect us. Pingfan originally released the video of the little fat boy defending them, hoping that they would have a little remorse. But it seems that he was really wrong. Some demons are not big or small. It's not that only adults are demons. Don't worry, I won't kill you. But if you think I really can't do anything to you, you're wrong. Pingfan's voice became colder and colder. In his eyes, these people were not children. They all knew what they had done, and even knew how much harm they had caused to their classmates. But they never felt that they had done anything wrong. Instead, they thought it was reasonable. Hell is empty, and the devil is on earth. When they appeared again, they had already arrived at the ocean house, appeared in the live broadcast screen. Of course, Pingfan also mosaicked these people. Don't think I'm defending you. I wish I could expose every one of you online. However, in order to protect him, I don't want to implicate him because of you, so you should feel lucky. Pingfan was worried that, if these people were exposed, the fat boy who was bullied in school would be found out. He didn't want the other person's life to be disturbed. In fact, sometimes, the so-called care from the social level is not really care, but it can ruin an ordinary family. Comrade reviewer, you must be calm and can't hurt them. Leave this matter to me. I will handle it. Please believe me. The fairy girl who picked the stars kept sending barrages, while other barrage comments were about hitting him, venting anger, beating him, etc. Please believe me, okay? Give us a chance. Pingfan glanced at the comments sent by the star-picking fairy and smiled calmly. Okay, but before that, I would like to invite you to enjoy a virtual world together. Then, Pingfan laughed heartily. They are just lucky viewers I invited to participate in the live broadcast interaction. Remember the virtual reality experience device before? I suddenly found another interesting copy of it. It's called Heaven to the Left, Hell to the Right. What do you think? Will they choose to go left or right? Chapter 98, The Jumping Heart of Suicide. The entire live broadcast room was shocked by the virtual world presented. Each of them faced a choice. The first one to face the choice was a girl. She participated in a talent show and formed a singing group with a good friend from childhood. But the final result was that only one person in their group could stay. The current situation is biased towards her teammate because her teammate was born with a unique voice, a very distinctive ethereal voice, and very charming. But now, there is a glass of water in front of her. After drinking it, her throat will gradually be destroyed. As long as she lets her teammate drink it, then she will definitely pass the draft and debut successfully. She made her own choice. Let her teammates drink the water in the glass. In the final draft competition a few days later, she successfully defeated the teammate whose voice was destroyed and officially debuted. This scene, presented in the live broadcast room, it makes people fall into contemplation. Any choice has consequences. Let's continue to watch. The teammate who failed the draft did not fall into despair because of this blow. Instead, through the music theory knowledge he learned, he successfully became a music teacher and lived a simple and happy life. The girl made her debut successfully and became a well-known actress in the first 2 years with her good looks. Unfortunately, she was not good enough and soon became outdated as more and more promising rivals emerged. Accustomed to the glamorous life of the first 2 years, she did not reduce her spending because she was outdated. She was still extravagant and even engaged in some illegal body transactions at times. The final result, in a transaction, she was infected with HIV. The rest of her life was ruined. The second person to face the choice was a boy. He was also the boy who slapped the kid in the face at the beginning. His choice was simpler. When he grew up, his mother was hospitalized due to illness and suffered from dementia, but the disease was not serious enough to kill people. He became a lawyer with a stable job, a good income, and a beautiful girlfriend. Choice. His girlfriend rejected the proposal because she didn't want to be a nanny to serve his mother after marrying him. Moreover, his girlfriend also wanted a car as a gift. This was a considerable expense for him. It might not be a big deal under normal circumstances, but now he still needed to pay medical expenses for his mother. That night, he sat in the hospital and fell into deep thought. From now on, no one knows that you have been to the hospital, and no one knows what you do. As long as you choose, this ward can be tripped. The ventilator will stop for a few minutes, and you can be released. The voice rang out. The scene fell into darkness. No one knew what choice he would make. Damn it, even a tiger won't eat its own cubs. He wouldn't want to kill his mother. If this thing really does that, what's the point of living? It turns out that hell is empty, and the devil is on earth. The scene changed. Pingfan didn't know what choice the boy would make. The scene was a wedding held in a church. It's over. This bastard, he really did such a thing. Asshole, this kind of person doesn't deserve to live. Trading his mother's life for a woman. Is this kind of marriage really meaningful? Just as the live broadcast room was full of criticism, a woman in a wheelchair appeared in the camera with a loving smile on her face. It was the boy's mother. You are somewhat self-aware. I apologize for what I said before. To be honest, Pingfan did not expect the boy's choice. I decided to change the way of playing. This way of playing is not realistic. After all, the setting is a choice. Not only them, but anyone who faces a choice may be shaken. So this experiment is invalid. But next, I want them to experience another kind of life. After that, Pingfan changed the virtual reality experience device again. Immediately, after the virtual world collapsed, it was rebuilt. In this world, each of them is the previous child. Because of illness, in order to survive, they can only rely on an external urine bag. But at the same time, Pingfan also wants them to experience what school bullying is. One by one, they suffered helpless humiliation, were beaten to the ground, had their urine bags pulled out, and were slapped. Every feeling is real. The experience is over. Pingfan looked at the people who were crying in fear and said, "How do you feel about this kind of life? These are just children after all. Although demons are not big or small, but Pingfan is willing to give them a chance." The reason why he had this idea was mainly because of the choice made by the boy in the previous virtual world. Everyone has a chance. Everyone deserves a chance. From now on, I will give you 5 minutes of free time. You can choose to sit here and calm down and think about it, or you can choose to do something else. In 5 minutes, I will send you back. Sending you back does not mean that he will ignore some things. If there are still people who do not repent, he does not mind asking the little fairy to introduce a few juvenile detention centers. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. The first person to stand up was the girl who made the first choice to poison her teammate. She lowered her head and walked to Xiaopang and apologized seriously. One after another, the others walked over, crying and apologizing, hoping to be forgiven by Xiaopang. Whether it is true or not, at least things are moving in a good direction. As for the future, he will take good care of this little fat boy. Now, I'll send you back. After sending everyone else back, Pingfan came back to pick up Xiaopang. How about I take you back? I'll hold you and fly in the air. Oh my god, Xiaopang, go back and exercise more. You're too heavy. In the air, Pingfan flew very slowly. When he arrived at the school, it was the school's big break, and all the students were doing radio gymnastics on the playground. Iron Man landed on the rostrum and slowly put Xiaopang down. Listening to the cheers of the audience, Pingfan smiled indifferently and reached out to rub Xiaopang's head. He is my friend. Study hard and exercise. I will come to see you often. You can tell me if you have anything. After bending down and saying something to Xiaopang, he rushed to the sky and disappeared into the sky. Back at the ocean house, Pingfan stood in front of the video camera. There are many problems in this society that need to be improved. I was very angry at first, and I really wanted to punish them. However, even if I vent my anger for Xiaopang now, as long as they are still alive, the hatred will continue to spread, and perhaps Xiaopang will be implicated again. Okay, regarding Xiaopang's affairs, I hope that certain departments will not expose them on the internet casually. I will personally pay more attention to him privately. Due to time constraints, why don't the other lucky audience wait for the next issue? How about inviting you to participate in the next props review? Don't worry, my friend, I will remember you. I have become stronger and bolder. Ahem, I'm not talking about me, but that friend's ID. Okay, that's it. I think this live broadcast can probably end. Just when Pingfan was about to end the live broadcast, he looked into the distance and found something interesting. A heart of desire to die kept jumping. Wait, I seem to have found something interesting again. Chapter 99. I recognize it. Want to know what memories people have 500 years later? Pingfan suddenly spoke, causing the live broadcast room, which was originally reluctant to leave, to explode again. Smart people quickly figured out what was going on. 500 years later. The only thing from 500 years later was this sea fortress, but it was obvious that its memory could not be transmitted and read through brain waves. But don't forget, there was another thing that came to the real world with the sea fortress. Mermaid, come here. Fuck, the anchor is planning to play with fire. Come here, beast. Come to my house. There won't be any danger. Anchor, I advise you to calm down. You must find a way to extinguish the heart of suicide that is secretly plotting. I want to see. +1. Plus 10,086. Once the heart of suicide is generated, it is difficult to extinguish. Even if Li Pingfan does not play with fire in the live broadcast room, after the live broadcast is over, he may let him come over to try this prop. So, come here, come here, come here, come here, come over. If you ask me to come over, I will come over. If I come over, then isn't that too much? The ignorant came over and walked in front of Li Pingfan. Come over. If you want to wear the crown, you must bear its weight. Now I will crown you in person. Are you ready? After putting on the equipment hood, Li Pingfan took the data transmitter and connected it to the virtual reality experience device and began to prepare to appreciate what human memory will be like 500 years later. But everyone, I'm not sure whether its memory can be exported. After all, the previous ones have been formatted. Sure enough, the memories transmitted by the device, based on the brain waves of the coming over, occurred after the system transmitted it to the real world. That is, what happened after the evaluation of the mermaid. There was no previous one. Including the cage under the ocean house, there was none. What a pity. It seems that I'm destined not to see it. In this case, Li Pingfan, who was about to give up, was surprised to find that a strange fluctuation occurred on the export device. Then, after receiving this data information, the virtual reality experience device began to build a virtual world. Wait, is this memory from the cerebral cortex of the mermaid? Impossible. Li Pingfan shook his head and denied. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The civilization of the system is unimaginable. It can provide parallel worlds and even some technological products of the first level civilization era. How could a mermaid from more than 500 years later escape the system's reconstruction? Although I don't know how to explain it, but the virtual world has indeed begun to be constructed. Moreover, it looks like a laboratory. There was no sound, and the laboratory was pitch black, with only a few instruments emitting light. In front of the luminous instrument, there was a woman. She was wearing a white coat, with her hands on the table, and her eyes were firm. After a moment, the woman seemed to have made a decision, and took a difficult step, and walked towards a breeding cabin in the distance. Then, she took off all her clothes, walked into the cabin, closed the cabin door, and a stream of dark blue liquid poured into it, submerged the whole person. At this moment, a voice came. Someone wanted to break the door. Dung, dung, dung. After a few loud noises, the door of the laboratory was knocked open and a group of people rushed in. Unfortunately, they were late. The woman was curled up at this moment, floating in the liquid. It was too late for everything. The people who came in spoke some incomprehensible language, but judging from their expressions, they must be very upset that they could not stop all this from happening. But soon, someone was surprised to find that the data on an instrument next to him had changed. He called the people around him to come over and look at the screen. The woman in the incubator had actually changed. Her body began to absorb the blue culture fluid, and her skin turned blue little by little. Her appearance was also changing towards a mermaid. Damn, before the mermaid came here, she must have been a beauty. It must be. The woman before was really beautiful. So, what happened in the future? Did she use herself as a test subject? Crazy. Scientists are all crazy. The picture stopped abruptly as the woman's body developed into a mermaid. Li Pingfan was also shocked. He didn't expect that the mermaid would appear like this at the beginning, and he didn't expect that the mermaid was a woman before she came here. The mermaid wearing a visor came over, opened her mouth, and spit out this word. The entire live broadcast room exploded. The mermaid spoke. She actually can speak. Revived? I said the anchor was playing with fire. How could she do such an experiment? Isn't this trying to activate a future human? Listen, what does she have to say? Can the mystery of the future world be solved? This is an endless treasure. Her memory will be the most precious wealth in the entire world. Anchor, this time you are playing with fire too much. As Li Pingfan became nervous in an instant, he was ready to fight. Even if the god-level middle finger would be completely shattered, he had to be ready. I want to thank you. The mermaid turned her head and said this to Li Pingfan. Are you awake? Bang. As soon as she finished speaking, the mermaid fell backwards and fainted. Just as the mermaid fell, a small thing flew over not far away. It landed on the mermaid's body. It looked very ugly and very weird. The bald bird has no hair on its body, but it has a bear's head on top. What the hell did I see? Godzilla, Gakuma, Kuriloid, Legadoran, Sulizan, don't go crazy upstairs. This is clearly a mountain swallowing beast. Wait, why are you so calm? Shouldn't you say that? It's a mountain swallowing beast. Host, what's going on? Ahem, a small accident, nothing. Pingfan wanted to cry, but had no tears. The mountain swallowing beast had seen him for the first time since it hatched, and had taken him as its parent. It was so stupid that it didn't even look carefully. They were the same species. A small accident? This thing is also called a small accident? A high-risk creature in the world of Zoanfa. Let me explain. High risk does not mean highly endangered, but highly dangerous. I understand it very well. I watched the live broadcast of the previous parallel world. Oh my god. Host, I heard that someone slandered you for kidnapping several students. Is that true? Has the person above just got internet access this year? Ahem, it's nothing. I just picked up a mountain eating beast egg while I was live streaming. It's up to you, boss. Can you do a review of the mountain eating beast? The only mountain eating beast on earth. If this thing is put in a zoo, you must be daydreaming. Do you know how scary this thing is? If it's put in a zoo, it can eat all the tourists in one day. Just as Pingfan was flipping through the comments, the sleeping mermaid woke up. I recognize it. Chapter 100. Seeing the mountain swallowing beast 500 years later. The mermaid was in a very confused state at the moment. She kept shaking her head, sometimes confused, sometimes clear. When confused, she would talk. When clear, she was the same as before, a cute mermaid. Can you turn that thing off? I don't like it. No, sister, although you look a little eccentric now, we all saw your gorgeous beauty just now. Yes, sister, please interact with us. Do people in the future also eat? Sister, what will the world be like in 500 years? Is technology already very advanced? Suddenly I realize that, if the Zoanfa world focuses on Zoanfa civilization, then our world focuses on technological civilization. I wonder who will win, and who will lose, if technological civilization and Zoanfa civilization collide. Hasn't the nano god level middle finger, and the virtual reality experience device already collided? Suddenly I yearn for the future world. The mermaid raised her head and looked at the video recorder with a rather cold gaze. I can only say that the future is not very good. I would rather stay here. After that, she looked at Pingfan. Can you turn it off? It makes me feel uncomfortable. This is understandable. I hope everyone understands that she was used as an experimental subject and was watched by people too many times before. Now she is naturally a little uncomfortable being observed by the video recorder. So, this live broadcast ends here. Pingfan ignored the fact that so many people in the live broadcast room threatened to unfollow him and turned off the live broadcast because he heard the mermaid say, I know it. So, this he refers to himself. Or something else? Here, the only thing with life characteristics is the mountain eating beast. How can a mermaid recognize something from another parallel world? The video recorder has been turned off. Can you tell me who you know? You can take off the steel armor. I don't know what's going on. My mind is very unstable, and there is a signal in my brain telling me that you are the only person I can trust. Even, give me a command that, if you tell me to die, I need to die. Okay. Pingfan still believes in the ability of the system. Even if the mermaid has recovered his memory for a short time for unknown reasons, it is unlikely that it can hurt himself. After walking out of the steel armor, Pingfan put on the god level middle finger. In this way, even if the mermaid blew a breath on him, he would not have to worry. Do you know me? No. The mermaid shook her head and moved her eyes away from Pingfan and put them on the mountain swallowing beast. I recognize this thing. But maybe it's different. The ones I've seen are more powerful than it, with a wingspan of more than 10 meters, and can spit out strong winds from its mouth. It is extremely stubborn. Pingfan felt that things were getting more and more confusing. The mountain swallowing beast described by the mermaid was obviously the grown-up ones he saw in the Zoanfa world, and it was definitely not this little guy who had just broken out of the shell a few days ago. However, the mermaid did not go to the parallel world. During that time, she had been in the sea to help Pingfan make money. Unless she had her memory at that time, she took advantage of Pingfan's absence from this world, secretly came back, found her mobile phone, connected to the internet, and watched the live broadcast. However, this should be impossible. It's just that they look very similar, with a bird's body and a bear's head. How did you see it? Did you see it in the world 500 years later? Yes. But, the problem is, that the mountain swallowing beast is not from this world. What do you mean? Wait, has the world 500 years later found a way to go to the parallel world? Pingfan asked. Parallel world? Sure enough, does the parallel world really exist? The mermaid's reaction was obviously not fake. Moreover, since she was not in this state before, she had no idea that Pingfan had been to a parallel world. It exists. Pingfan pointed at the mountain devourer. It is a product of the parallel world, the Zuanfa world. Parallel world, Zuanfa world. It is from a parallel world. No wonder. We did so many studies back then, but we couldn't create a bird-like bare-headed beast. It turns out that it is not from this world at all. Wait. The mermaid seemed to suddenly think of something, but how did it get here? Could it be that you have found a way to go to the parallel world? Impossible. The technological civilization of your world can never open the parallel world. This is simply a super-dimensional thing. Coincidence. Pingfan didn't explain anything. Now it's your turn to tell us how you saw it in your world. It was taken by a friend of mine who accidentally filmed it, but no one believed him. But I believe he won't use these things to make a gimmick. Then, he tried many times to cultivate it, but never succeeded. Pingfan didn't think the mermaid was deceiving him. Ocean Fortress. This is the Ocean Fortress. Soon, the mermaid stood up. Looking around, she fell into deep thought. You can travel through the past and future, and you can also travel through parallel worlds, right? No. Pingfan was right to deny it. He really couldn't travel through the past and future, and as for traveling through parallel worlds, he had to rely on the help of the system. It's not like he could go wherever he wanted. Whether you can or not, I want to warn you, don't play with time. The Ocean Fortress appeared 500 years later. Since you brought it to the real world, please don't try to change anything except protecting yourself. Do you understand? Are you worried about the butterfly effect? Butterfly effect? The mermaid sneered. Some civilizations appearing in your hands may be okay, because I don't know your origins, but some things must never appear in the hands of others, even if they are just things from tomorrow. Pingfan suddenly fell silent. He remembered the first mistake he made. You didn't really send something from the future? The remedy is to bring it back as soon as possible. If it is something from the far future, and the time it is sent out is not too long, the time fluctuation caused will not be very large, or even negligible. But if that's not the case, then you have to be careful. I'm just a poor college student in a second-rate service department, and I haven't learned time, so how can I know so much? You play by yourself for a while. I have something important to do now. Pingfan didn't avoid danger. Took out number 2, and stuffed it into the iron suit, and took out the space blade. Go now and bring me back the space anti-gravity experience field. Time says that, if you are not careful, it will cause a disaster, or perhaps a catastrophe. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.